Now it's time to wake up. Kincade and Salciunas is on the air. Broadcasting live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
And a good Tuesday morning, Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salciunas, Johnny the K, on vacation all week long in paradise. But we're in paradise, Connor Thomas. We're in Ballackinwood, Pennsylvania. Who says St. Lucia is more beautiful than Ballackinwood, especially when the weather gods continue to laugh at us? If you remember last week, we kept on tracking this week's weather. And every day we were like, oh, my God, Wednesday it's going to be like 55. And then Thursday it's going to be 60. And then Friday's going to be 70. It keeps getting pushed. Now all of a sudden it's going to be 50 degrees or 40 degrees and rainy every single day this week. Now we have to wait till next week for it to warm up. Somebody's flipping us the bird on a daily basis.
You should try Florida.
I'll be doing that next month. You're doing that this weekend. I'm not, because I work. Everybody else around here takes vacation. Johnny Marks is in Disney. John Kincaid's in St. Lucia. You're going to Florida. Some of us work around here.
It doesn't sound like you're getting out what you're putting into the weather.
Wow. What are you trying to do, produce a show or something?
Maybe a little.
All right. Good morning, everybody. So yesterday, toward the end of the show, we played a promo from my friends over at ESPN, Freddie Coleman and Harry Douglas, and it was a quick little promo that, it just airs in between commercial breaks. And it was about Philadelphia sports fans. And it was the, kind of the big brother, little brother thing. I could say whatever I want about my teams, but the second you say something about our teams, we're about to go to war, right? It's just like the big brother, little brother. I can pick on my little brother, but the second you do, we're going to fight. And it was funny because we talked about it, Connor and I did, and said, everything checked out. Everything that they said checked out. They weren't taking unnecessary shots. Everything checked out. When things go well, we are ravenous in a good way. When things go poorly, we are ravenous in a bad way. We switch like that. Now, there are some fans out there, and I know from doing this job and reading YouTube and reading social media where people don't react the same way as everybody, right? I'm a little bit more emotional than others. John Kincaid's even more emotional at times than me. You're a vibes guy, and usually the vibes are high because, let's face it, the teams in Philadelphia are good. They're contenders, right? They're not always bringing home championships, but we have a good thing going in Philadelphia sports right now. You may be shocked to hear me say that. I say it all the time. But when you hear us every single day talk about the Philadelphia teams, usually there's a negative vibe because there's always something dramatic happening. Sports is the greatest reality TV that there is, all right, because it isn't scripted. Yeah, I know that there are conspiracy theorists out there that believe there are scripts to sports. There aren't. And actual reality TV is scripted. I've talked to a few people that have been a part of reality television, and it's actually scripted, whereas Philadelphia sports in general, are not. So today is a day where we talk about Philadelphia sports, and you. It's later on today. I told you about it yesterday. Philly Magazine, in their March edition, put together the top 25 Philly guy athletes, right? Not athletes from Philadelphia, but players that have played in Philadelphia. Maybe they were from the area and, represented the city the way that we represent ourselves. So we'll get to that later on, but because I want to do like a Philadelphia sports related day where it's not X's and O's and we're not talking about whether or not A.J. Brown should be traded, even though we will get into that in about 25 minutes. My first question, I always talk about this, Connor, and whenever I talk to high school students or college kids that are trying to get in the industry and how to build out a show, I always talk about the oak tree, right? You got the big oak, but then you have the big branches. And so the oak tree topic, which will then spread into multiple different avenues today, is whether or not you get back what you put in when it comes to Philadelphia sports. What do you expect to get back? Now, this is going to go in so many different avenues. We'll talk about the financial aspect of it. When you go to games, is it worth your bank account going to a game, dropping a lot of money if you're a family of four, right? Going to the ballpark is not $20 for a family of four. It's $20 to park. In some spots, it's even more expensive in others. But before we get to the finances and personal stuff and personal matters, what about Philadelphia sports that you put into it? Do you believe you get back how much you put in? So we're going to start with success. Because ultimately, when it comes to watching sports, you want your team to win. We're going back to the Little League. We're going back to T-ball, where did you win, yes or no? You went to bed at night happy because your team won. You went to bed sad at night because your team lost. And I'm talking T-ball, all right? That is where sports begins. Did they win or not? I still remember as a little kid, the nights the Phillies played on the West Coast. And no, my parents weren't letting me stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning until I started sneaking downstairs when my sleep issues began in like middle school. But when I was a little kid, my first question from my dad every morning was, did the Phillies win? Right? And sometimes he'd be awake and watch the game, or some nights it was just let me put on Sports Center because maybe the score did not come out in the paper just yet. But that was my first question every morning. I was a loser. My first question wasn't, what's the weather today? My first question was, did the Phillies win? Did the Sixers or Flyers, or I watched every Eagles game. You were not allowed to go to bed during Eagles games. But that's what it came down to, winning or losing. I still remember, and you and I have talked about this in the past, Connor, way back in the midday days. I'm not even talking mornings with John Kincade. When Kevin Durant went on a rant on social media about what success actually is. Like, I made it to the NBA. I am getting paid a lot of money. I am considered a top 75 player all time. I am going to the Hall of Fame. I am a successful basketball player. But there are people that will take shots at Kevin Durant saying the only reason why he won a championship was because he left the Oklahoma City Thunder and went to the Golden State Warriors, creating the super team. And people dog Kevin Durant for that, even though he is one of the greatest basketball players in the history of the NBA. But forget Kevin Durant. We're talking about Philadelphia sports. What do you consider success? Is it just championships? Because if it is, then it kind of sucks. Like, if it's all about winning the title every single year, odds are that's not going to hit. Do you believe success is just being a contender every single year? Now, this is where it gets interesting because I think context always matters in this conversation. For the Flyers, when they soon, hopefully, become contenders, and I'm not talking about this year, despite them winning their third straight game yesterday, and we'll talk about the curse potentially being snapped last night. Once the Flyers get to the playoffs, we'll start calling them successful because they went through this rebuild, and man, has it been a long time since the Flyers have been relevant when it comes to the springtime in Philadelphia. But if you're the Sixers, being a quote-unquote contender and not getting past the second round post-process, is that successful? Maybe it was in the first couple of years of Brett Brown where they're winning 50 games and they're going to playoff series and they're going 7 games with the eventual NBA champion Toronto Raptors. But in 2026, if the Sixers make the playoffs, which I believe they will, win a first-round playoff series, which they could, and then lose in the second round, I'm not saying, hey, that was successful. Sure, I'll look at what VJ Edgecombe did his rookie year, and I'll be excited about his future. I'll see the step that Tyrese Maxey took into becoming the actual max contract player, right? He's actually showing it out what he is getting paid for. But from the Sixers standpoint, if they lose in the second round again, it's not a successful season. Just because it was better than last year doesn't mean it was successful. If the Phillies lose in the first round of the playoffs again, we're talking about a disastrous potential end to an era. We got to have a potential lockout next year. Everybody's getting older. The core is going to just be toward the end. I can't say that, damn, it was the Dodgers. Like, there comes a time where it is all about the championship, but it's not always that. So, Connor, when you think about success in sports in Philadelphia, where do you start?
I mean, championship's always the goal. It has to be.
Okay.
Like, that's what we do this for. And if you look around the major North American sports cities that have all Big Four teams, it seems like Philadelphia has an inordinate lower level of success than, like, a New York or an L.A. or Chicago. Like, you can find dynasties in all those towns.
Sure.
For some reason, it's escaped us for a long, long time.
It has.
And we have the one-offs. So you almost have to keep your sanity, accept lower levels at points. I think what you were talking about with the context there is really important. So you define that at the start of the season.
Yeah, like I'm not saying the Flyers had a unsuccessful season if they don't win the Stanley Cup this year.
Exactly.
Right? But there was a time where we were talking playoffs. So what do you define a successful season for the Flyers if they don't make the playoffs after a lot of people got excited before Vladar got hurt?
There's a lot of different levels to this conversation, but if I had to boil it down to one, I want this season to end with myself feeling like you are heading in the direction of winning a championship, whatever that means for the individual franchise.
All right, see, now this is interesting because you know how I always like to try to make it more about personal life and not always about sports, and maybe it's the drugs. I don't know. You were saying that the goal is the championship, right?
Always.
All right. I'm going to take you back to 2018-19, all right, before my lovely wife and I got married. I ballooned up a little bit. I've told the story. When I was working with Mikey Miss, I had no money, and they did hoagie drops twice a week from delis all across New Jersey and Pennsylvania that were associated with Dietz and Watson, all right? Every Monday and Friday, they dropped off full hoagies, and I mean a boatload of them. So what did I do when I had no money?
Oh, you took them home.
I ate one at work, the Monday hoagie, and then I would take one home and eat it Tuesday. And then on Friday, I would eat one on Friday because you're working 2 to 6, so you're here, quote unquote dinner time. And then I would take one home for Saturday. So I was eating 4 full hoagies a week because they were free and I had no money and I needed to do it. And then all of a sudden I ballooned to a weight that I'm not going to disclose on these airwaves.
Did it start with a 3?
No. It did not even start with a 2, but I was not happy with it, all right? And so we were going to get married. So what does everybody do before they get married? I got to
cut down.
I got to cut down. I got to get in shape. Got to look good for the pictures, right? My goal was to have abs for our wedding. That was my goal. I wanted to have abs so that when we went to our honeymoon and we were taking pictures with our shirts off, I wanted to have abs. I lost 30 pounds. Did not get abs. Was it not successful?
No, it's still successful.
That's what I'm saying. And so when you tell me that it's all about the championship, well, you know what could be worse? Being a White Sox fan. Being a fan where you have no shot. Your team's not going to try, especially in baseball, some of the clubs, right, like the Pittsburgh Pirates. They don't pay people, right? They have Paul Skeens and nobody else. You could be one of those fans where you have to watch a team literally not give a damn. Imagine being a Marlins fan. We went through it the other day when John Heyman had the projected salary floor of $140 million. That means the Miami Marlins would have to double their payroll just to reach the floor. They're at $70 million. The Phillies are over 3. The Phillies have so much more money. They may not have won a championship, but at least they're contenders. At least I know going into 2026 that the Phillies are a legitimate World Series contender. I know that the Marlins have no shot. So what, I get it. If the Phillies don't win a championship or a World Series, I'll be just as pissed off as the next guy because there's going to be reasons why they lose, and it's going to be the reasons that I've been pointing out for years. But at least I can point out these things. Imagine just going into the year being like, all right.
No shot.
That sucks.
Yeah, that's the thing. Winning a championship, always the end-all, be-all for me, but the path to that is not linear. So I need to see something. One, you're trying to win. We take that for granted here in Philadelphia, that our teams try and win. Because look around the country in all the major sports leagues. There are teams not trying to win or that are completely so dysfunctional that they never have a shot. At least we are trying to find a way to win championships here in this town.
Just because you're trying doesn't mean you're not dysfunctional.
No, I know.
Have the Sixers been a functional organization?
Not very much.
That's what I'm saying. They're trying. Look, I talk about this all the time. I know people don't like the owner. He pays money, right? The Sixers are one of the, they pay money. They've max contract players. They just pay it poorly. They make bad decisions. And then they, duck the salary tax by trading away a player that a lot of people like. But it's not a functional organization. Functional organizations, you think, could get out of the second round at least once in the last 10 years, especially with all the talent and the financial aspects that they put into the team. So just because you're trying doesn't mean you're functional. I think about the New York Jets. The New York Jets try. They're dysfunctional. Their owner has their son base decisions off of Madden ratings. They're trying, but they're dysfunctional. So really, I want to know from people to start the show this morning, as we're doing a day of Philadelphia sports, do you get what you put in? Do you get back what you put in from our teams? And we're starting off with the branch when it comes to success. What is it that you consider success? Because I know I have not checked our YouTube comments yet, and I'm looking forward to it, but I know based off of the entire Eagles season, there were people, A, that were just happy that they won the Super Bowl the previous year, right? So whatever happens, happens. B, until they're eliminated, I'm not going to complain. I remember our man Mopar saying that. Like, he's a guy that until the final whistle blows, he's not going to act one way or another. Right? A team could win 5 straight games, but if they lose in the playoffs, they lose in the playoffs. Team could lose 5 straight games, but if they win in the playoffs, what does it matter? What did that 5-game losing streak even matter? Why did we react that way? There are people that act that way. It's not how I act. It's not. Baseball is the only sport I act that way because it's such a long season, and I try to break it up into 10-game increments. I don't wait till a certain date, but I also don't freak out game 1 or game 2 or game 3 unless it's Brandon Marsh. But I want to know from people at 610-632-0975, what do you consider success? Is it all about the championship, or is it just being able to say every single year, my team's a contender? Because if you don't have a contending team, what do? You don't watch. You usually don't. Jimmy Rollins wasn't wrong when he said Philadelphia fans are front runners. He wasn't talking about just Philly fans. That's everywhere. Name me a ballpark that's sold out with a team that stinks. Right? Like, football is the only sport where you're going to go, regardless. Citizens Bank Park, post-Jimmy Rollins era, was empty for 10 years. I know because I was still a loser that went because I just liked being at the ballpark.
You love an empty stadium.
Well, yes and no. No, because it means my team stinks.
Right.
Yes, I did not mind during the COVID 50% restrictions being able to sit like this with my arms out, leg up on the seat in front of me. It wasn't too bad. All right, you can text in 610-632-0975. All right, can we hear it? Did we notice and watch the curse ending created by me?
On the left side from the top of the circle, goes in front, took a shot, saved by Dan Vladar, and the Flyers win it in the shootout. 2-1 shootout win, and Philadelphia's won 3 in a row for the 3rd time this season.
So that was how it sounded here on the Fanatic last night. Flyers beat the Leafs 3-2 in a shootout. And if we go back to, I think it was December, we had Rick Tocchet on the show. And we were celebrating right out the get-go because it was after a day in which the Flyers won a game via the shootout. And when he came on the air, I was like, Rick, you got to explain to me what's going on here, man. Because the Flyers historically suck in shootout games, and yet you've won. I believe they were 3-0 in the shootout to start the season. And he was talking about, the coaching staff and leave it up to the players, right? The talented players, the stick handling. And then they didn't win a shootout after that. I believe 3 straight losses via the shootout. Forget overtime losses in other games. Just the shootout alone, they lost 3 straight games after I celebrated it to Rick Tocchet. I may have put a curse on the Flyers, but they ended it maybe yesterday.
I mean, technically that counts as ending the curse, right?
Like they won via the shootout. Now they've won 3 straight games. And now all of a sudden we get to fool ourselves into thinking they're going to make a push for the wild card.
Well, this curse ending was the momentum they needed. They were talking about it in the locker room after the game, I heard. Yeah, saying the Salciunas curse is dead. That was the biggest storyline. I didn't
know you made it to Toronto last night.
I have a couple sources. And that's the motivation that they need to make this push.
Flyers are 4 points back of the Bruins, who they just beat the other day, for the final wild card spot.
They're going to have to keep winning a lot.
I know they are. And it's one of these situations where you go, is it worth it? I need to see it. Like I've been talking about a double dip April for a long time now because it's been a long time. Pre-COVID was the last time we saw it here. There was the bubble where both the Sixers and Flyers played in a playoff series. But pre-COVID, it was April of 2019, I believe, the last time we saw both teams playing at the time Wells Fargo Center in a playoff series. I need that back. But like they can't be aggressive at the trade deadline.
No.
Like they can't do that. It's this Friday. They got to try to continue to acquire for pieces down the road. Man, it's just nice to feel a little bit of juice with the Flyers, a little bit of buzz with the Flyers now that it's March. It's been a while since we felt buzz in March. How real is it? You decide. Good win yesterday for the Flyers. And hopefully people can stop telling me that I cursed them when I celebrated the shootout success. All right, coming up next, we'll check our text line for the first time this morning. What do you define success in Philadelphia sports? Is it just about championships? Or are you just happy to be able to say, my team's contending this year? 610-632-0975. That, and at the end of the show yesterday, we went through the nuggets that Albert Breer had on A.J. Brown. He also had some on Max Crosby. John Kincaid's not here today. So we get to play a hypothetical game. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Flyers find a shootout win. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers continued to keep their slim playoff hopes alive last night, taking down the Leafs 3-2 via the shootout. Noah Cates had a strong game with a goal and an assist in the win, and Dan Vladar was big in net, including in that shootout.
On the left side from the top of the circle, goes in front, took the shot, saved by Dan Vladar, and the Flyers win it in the shootout. 2-1 shootout win, and Philadelphia's won 3 in a row for the third time this season.
Vladar saved 2 of the 3 attempts he faced in that shootout. They have the next 2 nights off before taking on Utah on Thursday. And remember, the NHL trade deadline is on Friday. We'll keep you updated on that. Sixers host the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama tonight at 8 p.m. as they look to continue their playoff push. No Joel Embiid again in this one as he continues to recover from an oblique strain. You can hear that game live tonight right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Phillies take on the Rays today at 1:05 as their spring training slate continues. And Monday marks the start of legal tampering period of the NFL offseason. So we'll keep you updated on any Eagles news that pops up as we draw closer to that date. Amy Fadul joins us from the 8 o'clock hour till the end of the show. This update is brought to you by NJM Insurance. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Marks. Make sure you tune in Middays with Marks. You guessed it with me, John Marks. That's coming up at 10 o'clock. Let's get back to more of Kincade and Salciunas right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
This hour of Kincade and Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
It is 6:29 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We're going to get into a hypothetical discussion. I know how people are, and John doesn't like doing the hypothetical discussions. So John's on vacation, so I'm allowed to do it. But real quick, some responses. I know you got a couple of texts, but I want to read a response on YouTube. If you're just tuning in, what we're talking about today is whether or not you get back what you put in when it comes to Philadelphia sports. And there's a lot of branches to the discussion. So the first one we're starting with is what you define success as. And for me, it's did you win or did you lose, right? But I also have to understand, like, as an adult, I realize you don't always win. And so the fun night at the ballpark that my father and I went to, Game 2 of the 2023 NLCS, where they put up the 10-plus runs, like, that night I'll never forget. They lost that series in 7 games, and it's one of the most miserable series I've ever watched. Like, that sucked. The previous year, they lost in the World Series, but I applauded them for getting there. Right? I understand they were up 2-1 and the no-hitter and all that. I don't crush them for that series. They lost to a dynasty. But the very next year, I could say, wow, they got back to an NLCS, but I don't look at it that way. I say, screw them. I can't believe they lost to Brandon Pfaadt and the Arizona Diamondbacks. So Mopar chimes in, who I brought up in the first segment, because I remember him saying at one point, like, I react when the season's over. Did they win or did they lose? He says contender trumps a champion. Now, I don't think he means that, like, in full. But what he's saying is, I'd rather always be there and get lucky. Championships will come. He mentions the 93 Phillies. The 93 Phillies ultimately is a blip on the radar. It's a lot of people's favorite team of all time. You and I were born that year, you were a 94 baby. You weren't even born that year. I was born after the fact. We don't have that same relationship with the 93 Phillies as a lot of people in this city do. I always kind of laugh at the people that still say it's one of their favorite teams when a team, 15 years later won the World Series. That will be forever my favorite team because they won. I don't love the 09 Phillies as much as I love the 08 Phillies. I don't love the 11 Phillies, who were better, as much as the 08 Phillies, because they didn't win. But there are people that will forever love the 1993 Phillies because of the randomness of it. But then they sucked. And they sucked before. So, to me, when we go back to the conversation we had with Kincade a while back about this Eagles era, and obviously it's better than the 2000 to 2004, and John said by far, and I was like, that's crazy to say by far, even though the Eagles won a Super Bowl and that team didn't. I'd rather be the team that goes to 4 or 5 straight NFC championship games than the team that has a blip in the radar. Like the 93 Phillies, other than the great story of it, like what else did that provide you?
Yeah.
Just memories?
I don't know. That's so tough, though. Like, would I rather be the 90s Bills going to 4 Super Bowls and losing all of them? Or would I rather be that Rams team? And we know, of course, the Rams are a good organization, but the one a couple years back where they traded everything for one shot at it and ended up winning it all. Like, I think I'd take the Super Bowl over the 4 years of contention.
Yeah, okay. Because you want to have a parade.
Yeah, you don't throw parades for, hey, we were there.
But, like, there are people that wouldn't – this is going to be random. I'm sorry. When I used to work with Ant, we had a caller, June, North Carolina. It's one of these calls that will always be in my brain. It was after, like, the second or third disappointing end to a Sixers season, right? Even though they were still contenders and we were excited about them. It was just after another disappointing end. It may have been the Hawks series for all I know. And I remember June calling in and saying to me and Ant, like, I miss the process days. I miss the days with no expectations, but just looking for bright spots. And I thought that was the most asinine thing I could have heard. because what we were relying on was ping pong balls going our way. Whereas I'd rather a bounce of a basketball go my way. Or I'd rather Ben Simmons next time dunking it, even though that never happened again. Like, I would rather feel that pain than watch my team rebuild, because feeling that pain means I had expectations. But there are people that don't like expectations. Or if they do have expectations, they will turn a blind eye to anything that's potentially negative.
Yeah,
like this A.J. Brown stuff. What do we got on the text line? And then we'll open up this hypothetical discussion. I already see one of our commenters, one of my favorites, Renee, saying how peaceful the morning's been so far because we haven't talked to A.J. Brown. Stay tuned. What do we got?
John from Ridley checks in, says, success to me is definitely the ability to go into a season knowing your team has a chance to win it all. Coming from a Dolphins fan, you guys are spoiled.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's when I do ESPN radio, right? Man, do I realize how much different we are. That's why I wanted to open up with the Freddie and Harry clip when they're talking about Philadelphia sports fans. I do the shows on ESPN, and they look at me like I'm nuts. Like, what do you mean you're upset about the Eagles' offense? They have 10 wins already. And I'm like, yeah. And the offense sucks. Like, I'm not happy with the offense. The things I was told I had rich people problems. And I get it, because imagine being a Dolphins fan. You know, you thought you had the next big quarterback head coach duo, and they both suck. They're both quirky. Nobody wants them. Well, the Chargers wanted him for the offensive coordinator, McDaniel. But yeah, like, if you're a Dolphins fan, you're right. But I also can't live my life based off of what Dolphins fans experience. I can't live my life based off of what Jets fans experience. That guy on Barstool a couple weeks ago, he was complaining about Philadelphia sports fans after the Eagles lost to the San Francisco 49ers. He's like, at least you made the playoffs. Yeah, my team's good. My organization is expected to do those things. Your team stinks. I can't base my opinion and my feelings off of other situations. Now, sometimes we should do that in life. You want to get deeper, right? You worry about the problems you have driving into work. Maybe you have a leak in your tire, and then you see what else is going on in the world at the same time. You go, I don't have it that bad. But when it comes to sports, I have nothing to do with it. I just am watching. Just because I talk about the teams on a daily basis, believe it or not, Dave Dombrowski's not listening to what I'm saying the Phillies should do. If he did, maybe they'd be successful. All right. We'll get back to it. 610-632-0975. All right, yesterday, toward the end of the show, Albert Breer, who covers the NFL for Sports Illustrated, had a big article on his takeaways from the Combine and what he had been hearing. And obviously he wrote about A.J. Brown. And he's under the impression that the Eagles are listening to the calls. Remember, he said a first-round pick and another top 100 pick. So first and a third. In the art of the deal, the Eagles probably would not get that, but you start high. This is how it works, right? Or, in Howie Roseman's case, screw you, I don't care. He's a very good football player. He can whine all he wants. He's under contract. He signed that deal. We have him. Max Crosby is another player that's being talked about, not as much nationally, but it's starting to get more buzz. Do you know that Max Crosby and A.J. Brown have very similar contracts?
I am aware of that.
Do you know they're both free agents after the 2029 season?
They match up pretty interestingly.
Hypothetical. Would you swap? Forget everything else. All right, we can play this game. We don't have to do the, well, you got to do this. You got to do. Hypothetical. Would you swap A.J. Brown, Max Crosby?
Now, let's get this straight. Would this be in lieu of potentially trading A.J. Brown? So this is a trade still, right? It's not just like a magic wand there. It's like you could have traded A.J. for something else, but you do this instead.
Sure.
Then I would not. All right.
You want draft picks?
Yeah, because
if you were to make the trade.
To me, edge rusher is not a big enough weakness that I'm like, hey, that swap immediately fixes what the Eagles need to be fixed the way that, hey, if they get a first and a third, I think you could fix some bigger issues with that.
Okay. Now, this is a proven versus unknown thing, right? Like, I know that Max Crosby's a stud, right? Yeah. Like, I know that he steps on in a Vic Fangio defense with Jalen Carter. getting as much attention, Jordan Davis getting as much attention as he gets, that Max Crosby is going to be pretty freaking good. Look at what Jalen Phillips did when he first got here. And there's as much as I like Jalen Phillips, there's a difference, right, between Jalen Phillips and Max Crosby. So the reason why I even bring it up is because I understand we're still a lot of you are still turning a blind eye and saying that A.J. Brown, none of this is real. He doesn't want to get traded. Look, we can all be big boys and girls here. Like, there's talks. All right, we're not saying that it's going to happen. There are talks. If the agent is talking, that means there's legitimate potential to an A.J. Brown trade. If Max Crosby wants out and A.J. Brown wants out, and maybe the Raiders say, hey, we wouldn't mind a wide receiver for what's going to be a rookie quarterback in Mendoza when we draft him in a month, would you make that deal? Like, A.J. Brown, he's out, right? Like, we're under the impression that he wants out. And if he wants out, what is it that you want back? I know there are people that are going to hold on, like the hippie on the tree they're going to tie themselves up and say, I'm not going anywhere. If you're going to take down this tree, you're going to take me down with it. There are people that are like that with A.J. Brown. I don't want him traded. But if he is going to get traded, would you do just a hypothetical swap? You lose an offensive player, a really good offensive player. It's going to break my heart. But damn, are you getting a beast back?
Yeah, this is spending the paycheck on the Louis Vuitton bag. Right, that's what it is. It's cool.
I'm not doing that.
It's pretty shiny. It's sick. And here's the thing. That's how I probably would have described signing Saquon Barkley 2 off seasons ago, because it was the cool, like, flashy move. And the question is, can you win paying a running back like that? And how much do they really affect your team's success? And clearly that was proven incorrect with the season that he had. But I feel like Max Crosby is the flashy name, but I don't feel like he's the best offseason fit for the Eagles right now. Not that he wouldn't work here or anything like that. Just there are other priorities that are higher on the list than Max Crosby.
Okay. I want to hear from people. 610-632-0975. Now, of course, right away, our man MBD. That's not how it works, Andrew. I know. That's why I said hypothetical land. There are some conversations I can't have when John's here because John would not have this conversation. John's gone. All right? Parents are dad's out of the house. Kids are going to run wild here today. D. Flyer said, do we trade the Liberty Bell for the Space Needle? I'd consider it.
Takes up a lot of space.
I'd consider it.
I don't know.
I could see the Space Needle when I'm driving to the city.
Yeah, that's true.
I have to go to the Liberty Bell to see it. It is a pretty historic thing, though.
Coming up next, we'll get into that.
Now, coming up next, we'll check our text line. Also, NBC Sports Philadelphia put together what they believe could be the blueprint for Howie Roseman's offseason. We'll go thumbs up or thumbs down next. It is Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic.
647 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Johnny the K out on vacation today, this week. Our question to start. It's a Philadelphia-related day, and also we just added a hypothetical conversation to the mix. Do you get what you put in to Philadelphia sports? Do you get back what you put in? And we're starting off with what you consider success. Do you believe it's just winning championships, or is it about being a contender? Because, man, I like to wake up every single day and say, my team's in the running. I also don't like waking up every day going, this is why they're not going to win. And there are teams in this town, like the Sixers and the Phillies, where I have those conversations with. It's the beauty of sports talk. It's also the pain of being a sports fan. So let's discuss that at 610-632-0975. What do we have on the text line, Connor? And then we'll go through the NBC Sports Philadelphia article about the potential blueprint for Howie Roseman this offseason. And Connor and I will go thumbs up, thumbs down. You can play at home. And then don't forget, yesterday we announced at 7 o'clock that Knockout is returning for the Sixers. Here for you, your chance to play Knockout on the court after the Sixers game against the Bulls on March 25th. In the 7 o'clock hour, we will begin today's opportunity for you to win a pair of tickets and the spot in Knockout. What do we got on the text line?
So we got some folks chiming in on this A.J. Brown, Max Crosby hypothetical swap. And Jim in Nazareth says, if you told me we could have Max Crosby for A.J., I'd drive A.J. to the airport myself. I'd even volunteer to drive the U-Haul with his stuff all the way to Vegas.
How about that? It's a hypothetical conversation, but somebody would do it. There are people that are done with the A.J. Brown drama because of A.J. Brown, not just because we're talking about it. I know there's a lot of you out there that don't believe that there would be people that are fed up with A.J. Brown. The man that normally sits to my left is, right? Like, there are people that are fed up with A.J. Brown. I want him back. Doesn't feel like it's going to happen. If it does happen where he's back, let's go. Let's see how Sean Mannion's offense looks. So NBC Sports Philadelphia put together a blueprint of what they believe Howie Roseman's offseason could be. Remember, next week is the start of the new league year. March 9th, 6 days from now, will be the legal tampering period. All right, number one, they start. I don't know if they're going order of importance or just how it was written. Exercise Nolan Smith's fifth-year option. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Same. I mean, he's a solid player when he's healthy, and it's not going to break the bank. I say thumbs up. Extend the contracts of both Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. It's going to be a lot of money between those two players, man. That's a lot of money. Jordan Davis, credit to him. The way he changed his body, the way he changed the way he played this year was actually more of a threat in the passing downs than he was in previous years. And a lot of it was out of necessity. Jalen Carter get ejected, before the first snap defensively because he's spitting on Dak Prescott. Jalen Carter missed time because of injury. And Jordan Davis stepped up big time. He earned what will be his eventual payday. That's a lot of money tied up to two guys, man.
I'm going thumbs up because I think they're both really I think they're safe investments. Both of them are.
Yeah, I agree. And I would too. The one thing I wonder, how much are the extensions benefiting the next defensive coordinator? Vic Fangio relies on interior pressure. What if the next guy doesn't feel that way? Now, I would imagine you try to hire somebody from the tree. How'd that work last time with Sean Desai? It'd be interesting. But they're both beasts.
Yeah, because Jordan Davis is like the consummate professional, great leader in the locker room, really has worked on himself and has continued to work on the shape he's in. And Jalen Carter, say what you want about questions about, the spitting on Dak Prescott thing and whatever. The dude is undeniably talented, and letting him walk out of the organization would be a major mistake.
Yeah, I agree. The next one I want to do, don't think I will be able to, or they will be able to. The other one I don't need to happen. Re-sign both Dallas Goedert and Reed Blankenship.
Thumbs down.
I would like Goddard back for a price, right? Like if his I don't know what his market is. We've talked about this. The tight end free agency market isn't all that great. He might actually be the best available tight end between him and Cade Otton. And I like Njoku too. But
Dallas Goedert, if he gets paid, you can't bring him back.
And he just had double-digit touchdowns. Like, to me, I have no doubt in my mind that some team's going to see him and go, like, oh, we'll overpay to get him on our team. And I don't think the Eagles are going to overpay.
Okay. And then Blankenship, like,
I know how you feel.
I can find another Reed Blankenship. You might have to find another podcast host with Coop. But I can find another Reed Blankenship.
I don't know what his market would be. He's kind of a tough guy to figure out what the price tag would be on him.
Yeah. If I'm Reed Blankenship, I'm taking the most money I could possibly get.
Can't blame him.
That's what I would do. All right. Play the compensatory pick game again, which means potentially not bringing back Jalen Phillips, and then whatever he gets paid, you get the compensatory pick for it, and Nakobe Dean. Now, I think that's a given. Jalen Phillips, I think they might actually consider re-signing. Nakobe Dean, everybody that covers the league said he's as good as gone. And the amount of people that circle Dallas to follow Christian Park, it's going to happen.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't. It's like the Ranger-Mets thing. I hope somebody else swoops in.
So you'll get a compensatory pick for Nakobe Dean. We'll see how the Jalen Phillips thing plays out.
I'm thumbs up on that.
All right. Trade A.J. Brown.
Thumbs down.
Is what they have as the blueprint. Again, there's a lot of talk. Teams that they mentioned, Chargers, Bills, Broncos, Patriots. Chargers have the 22nd overall pick. I don't think they'd trade the 22nd overall pick for A.J. Brown. Bills are 26th, Broncos 30th, Patriots 31st. To me, those teams at like the back end of the first round would make more sense.
Yeah, but if the Chargers want to, I'm not going to stop them.
Yeah, sure. Go for it. Trade Tanner McKee for the right price, and then you draft the quarterback. We talked about that just last week. What would your reaction be if they drafted a quarterback on day 2? Because they might need to. If a team's offering a third or a fourth round pick for a guy that you hope doesn't play, that's what it always comes down to. I understand Nick Foles won a Super Bowl, and people will say, well, what if Jalen Hurts gets hurt? I understand. You hope Tanner McKee doesn't play. Is it worth having an extra third-round pick or having Tanner McKee?
I'm cool with trading him, but I'm not cool with using a second-day pick on a quarterback.
Well, if you get an extra third, now you have 3 thirds.
Okay. Use a 4th or 5th on a quarterback. I don't want to waste one of those picks on a guy that should never play.
Okay. Trade for expendable young guys nearing the end of their rookie deals. I'm always for that.
Yeah. That's how
Howie's been pretty good with that. So I'm always for that. And then, look at the cap casualty market and then fortify the offensive line early in the draft. That's a given. That has to happen.
That's 3 thumbs up.
If we were to order, that's number 1. I need that to happen.
I'm borrowing an extra hand from somebody to give another thumbs up.
Yeah.
Offensive line is a need.
Right. Coming up next, reset today's topics, but also we will tell you how you can earn a spot in the Fanatic Knockout with a pair of tickets to the Bulls game on the 25th. It'll take one text from you to be in the running, and it's just gut feel. You don't have to overthink it. We'll also discuss it a lot throughout the course of the show. If you were listening yesterday, you might know what it is. Philly Magazine, top 25 Philadelphia guy, gal athletes. We'll discuss that next. Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Flyers building momentum. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers continued to keep their slim playoff hopes alive last night. They took down the Leafs 3-2 via the shootout. Noah Cates a strong game with a goal and an assist in the win, and Dan Vladar was big in net, including in the shootout where he stopped 2 of the 3 shots that he faced. With the win, the Flyers are now just 4 points behind the Boston Bruins for that final wild card spot. They have the next 2 nights off before taking on Utah on Thursday. And remember, the NHL trade deadline is on Friday, so we'll keep you updated on any trade rumors or news that we hear out of the Flyers. The Sixers host the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama tonight at 8 p.m. as they continue to look for their playoff push to continue. No Joel Embiid again in this one, as he is still recovering from an oblique strain. You can hear that game live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Phils take on the Rays today at 1:05 as their spring training slate keeps going. And Monday marks the start of legal tampering in the NFL, so the offseason gets a little bit hotter. We'll keep you updated on any new Eagles news that pops up as we draw closer to that date. Amy Fadul will join us from the 8 o'clock hour until the end of the show. This update is brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MADD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MADD-HELP or visit MADD.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
It is 7 a.m. here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5. The Fanatic, Johnny the K on vacation this week. Connor Thomas and I holding down the fort until Connor goes on vacation. And then it'll be me and Sean Rodman.
You got one more day of me after this.
Got one more day. All right. We have Amy Fadul, by the way, in studio today. Tuesdays with Amy. She'll be in with us from 8 to 10. Fridays with Fadul as well, 8 to 10. DeCecco will be in studio with us Thursday, 8 to 10, as we get closer and closer to the start of the new league year. Sort of the latest nugget on the A.J. Brown front was that the Eagles, according to Albert Breer, won a first-round pick and a second pick within the top 100 selections. Would the Eagles get all that? I doubt it. It was compared to the Devontae Adams trade that the Packers made back in 2022, trading him to the Jets. So we'll see how this plays out. We'll keep you updated. One note to bring up, I'm going to say this as respectfully as possible because I know the guy's been around the NFL for the longest time, but Matthew Berry is a fantasy guy, not a reporter, but he was at the combine. So, I'm sure he talked to people. I just find it interesting that he was the only guy that has said anything, like the fantasy football expert. But Matthew Berry was talking about Dallas Goedert, and he believes he's as good as gone. I'm told that he will definitely be moving on from Philly this offseason for Dallas Goedert. Now, again, I'm not breaking the bank for Dallas Goedert. I love him as a player, and I'm going to be bummed out. Last year was borderline devastated. This year, bummed out. Devastated that they still don't have a tight end.
Now, let me ask you. So last year, borderline devastated, comes out as a double-digit touchdown year, was one of the only bright spots on offense, and now your worry about him leaving goes down. Why is that?
Another year older. I mean, and I'm not going to pay him a ton of money. Like last year, they had him under contract. He's a free agent. Last year they had him under contract, and there was talks about releasing him. That's what I was upset. Like, you're releasing him for who? This year, he's a free agent. If a team pays him, I don't know. I don't know what the going rate is for tight ends, but they gave him a 2-year, 3-year deal worth more money than what the Eagles would offer him. Then that sucks. And great job. You had a tremendous career with the Eagles, and I still think you were underutilized. Not to his fault. But it looks like Dallas Goedert, at least that's what Matthew Berry is hearing, is leaving the Philadelphia Eagles this offseason. All right. We're going to get to some texts here and some calls. Our question, do you get back what you put in when it comes to Philadelphia sports? Memories is such a big one. The memories that I have with my dad, the memories that I have, hell, with you, Connor. Now, that was the Super Bowl, so that's a pretty good one. But the memories I had with my buddies that I was at the Michael Lorenzen no-hitter for, it's such a random night. The memories I have with Ray Dunn when Joel Embiid dropped 70. Like, it's a random night. Sports provides so many memorable moments, even though they don't always win championships. So when we talk about success and how you define it, whether it's all about championships or just your team being a contender, you can wake up every morning saying, my team has a chance. Is that more what you want than, it's got to be a championship or it's a failure? For some teams, it is. For the Phillies, it's become that. For the Eagles last year, it was that. Losing in the first round of the playoffs was a failure for the defending Super Bowl champions, especially in this conference. It's why we called it the wasted season. But for the Sixers this year, hell, I'll take getting out of the second round. I'll take an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. So what do you define success? What do you consider is success? 610-632-0975. Before we go to the text line, let's go to our man Tasty Cake Dom. And then in a couple minutes, around 7:10, I'll tell you how you can win the pair of tickets to the Sixers game on March 25th against the Bulls and also the spot in Knockout. What's up, Dommy? How you feeling, brother?
Hey, Andrew. How you doing? Hey, Connor.
Dude, you sound great.
Thank God I'm out of that rehab.
I know, man.
I was there for a while, so I'm home, so that's better. And I'm doing my best to heal up.
You're the best. I want people to know, if you can do it, be like Tasty Cake Dom. And I'm serious, dude. Your spirit, when you've been handed, a rough go recently, your spirit throughout all of it, man, it's a beautiful thing. It's inspiring.
Not every day, Andrew.
Absolutely.
Certainly. I put the show on and I'm listening to some good talk, which leads to my point, Andrew. We're good enough friends that you know my life.
Oh, yeah.
For 25 years, I would get what sports gave to me. For 25 years, I'd get in that truck at 4:30 in the morning, and the first thing I did was put on sports.
Yeah.
And I'm driving around in a 16-foot truck that has Eagles wings on it. So that was the ultimate conversation piece.
Absolutely.
You go into a Wawa, what do you think? And you have conversations. So how can you replace that?
I still remember a random call you made. You were upset that the local Wawa, I think it was the Hearst chips with Jason Tatum on them. And you were so pissed off. You're like, this can't happen.
Not Jason Tatum, Andrew. Jason Tatum in a Celtics jersey.
Yeah. With a Philadelphia staple chip.
And they put it right by my cake in a display, like they're displaying Celtics jerseys. Yes. I
still remember that.
Drove me out of it. And you were a big proponent of it.
Well, the chip tasted delicious. I'm not going to lie. I didn't like that Jason Tatum was on it, but it was a good chip. But it's amazing, Dom, right? Like, here we are. The Eagles won a Super Bowl recently, thank God. But it's not like you and I could talk Sixers every single day, and it's been 25 years since they made the finals. So
and you and I, even though the Sixers are going to get boat raced tonight, we're going to watch that game.
Hell yeah, we are, man. Connor was asking me, am I excited for a Dembona versus Wemby? No, I'm not, but I'm going to watch it.
He might go 40-20 tonight, right, Andrew?
Yeah, in the first half. Tommy, appreciate the call, man. Always great to hear from you. Like that's the thing. Tasty Cake Dom,
when I say more people should be like Tasty Cake Dom, I'm talking about from like just a personal level. And yeah, if you're having rough days, you can have rough days. You're allowed to express your emotions. But this is a guy where like every day it's like life's beautiful. And every single day I get to wake up and say the Phillies are World Series contenders. That's great. The Eagles are Super Bowl contenders. That's great. The Sixers, when healthy, can be dangerous. I'm not even calling them championship contenders. I'm just saying they could be dangerous if healthy, right? I can't hold my breath on that. And then we complain every single day because things don't go our way, and that's the beauty of sports talk. But is it not just successful to be a contender? There's an ultimate goal, as we talked about earlier, my personal story 1 hour ago. Before my wedding, I wanted to have abs. I didn't get abs, but I lost 30 pounds. Was that not successful? Because to me, that was. But I didn't reach my ultimate goal. If the Eagles lose in an NFC championship game, sure, we're going to be upset, and we'll probably complain about why. Right? Like, this play went wrong. If Jake Elliott misses a field goal, odds are that could happen.
You could take the probably out of it.
Yeah, like we will. But, man, 2022, when I see Yordan Alvarez hit the home run, I'm like, man, I'm sad. But I wasn't kicking and screaming. I wasn't. In 2010, I threw a remote and put a hole in the wall and got in trouble for it. In 2022, I was like, it sucks. And I don't think that was an age thing. That wasn't like I grew up 12 years.
It wasn't, because we were the same age and I was kicking stuff.
Yeah, but they're like, they lost to a dynasty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 2023, on the other hand, thank God I had a child at home. And I didn't want to make too much noise because I was ready to, punch walls because I love that team to death, and sometimes they don't love me back. What do we got on the text line?
All right, so we still have people checking in on our original conversation there on what they love and get back from sports. This texter says success is improving from the year before or when already a contender, maintaining with future potential. Every year there are teams win the final game of the year. It is the ultimate success, and it makes up for 5 years or so of not winning.
That's the other thing. Like, if the Phillies win this year, not really believing it, but if the Phillies win the World Series, the talking point will then become how many could they have won, right? But we're still celebrating that they won. I think back to 2008, and I'm not saying me personally. I'm saying there will be people. 2008, the Phillies win in the World Series. That made for that run. I know 11 was the most disappointing season that you could maybe think of before 2023, right? They won 102 games. They had the 4 aces, and they lost 1-0 with that lineup in Game 5 at home. Like, that's horrible. But imagine if 2008 never happened. Like, I look back at that era fondly, despite them having one of the most disappointing ends ever.
Yeah, I mean, that's a problem for another day. You can look at the Eagles and say they should have beaten the Chiefs the first time they matched up in the Super Bowl. They had every opportunity. You talk about the holding call, the field, the defense, whatever, the Jalen Hurts fumble.
Jonathan Gannon.
Bottom line is we did a show from Broad Street for a parade, and I don't think at any point we talked about the matchup with the Chiefs and, what could have happened if this was their
They could have won
second.
2 and 3. No,
You do it for the moment.
You do that 10 years later.
Sure.
Like, I'm sure that's going to come up. Like, if the Eagles only win one Super Bowl, only win one Super Bowl. If the Eagles only win one Super Bowl during this era, there will be somebody 10 years from now looking back saying, man, there were wasted opportunities. And we'll talk about Patullo, right? Like, Kevin Patullo will be a name forever mentioned in Philadelphia. Forever.
Right. But we don't do this to always win. We do this to enjoy when we do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you can continue to text in 610-632-0975. Do you get back what you put in when it comes to Philadelphia sports? And the first thing is what you define success. Do you get that back? Is it just about championships? Or is it about being able to say that your team's a contender every single year? We have other aspects of this conversation that we'll get to in a little bit. But I want to tell you how you can win a pair of tickets for the Sixers game against the Bulls March 25th, and also your spot in Knockout. The game will be March 25th at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Get single game tickets today at Sixers.com. We also have 2 $50 gift cards to Rita's. So the weather may not be changing this week, but next week, as long as the weather gods don't give us another middle finger, it's going to be 60, 70 degrees next week. That first feeling of 70 degrees with a Rita's water ice, Sounds pretty good. So what we're going to do today is over the course of the show, Philly Mag did a top 25 Philadelphia athletes list. Not players from Philadelphia, but players that were the Philly guys. And man, Connor, as you know, I don't give a damn about that stuff. Like, I don't care. Are you good or are you not? There are people that do care about this stuff. There are people that care about where they're from. There are people that care about, did they come up through the farm system? Were they our draft pick? There are people that like homegrown talent more than the big free agent signing. It just is the way that it is, especially in this city. Because we love, they wanted to be here. They stayed here. They never left.
It's got to be here more than anywhere else, too.
I do think a lot of it's here. I really do. Because, man, we hold on to prospects for dear life. I don't really give a damn unless they're can't miss. And a lot of times they're not can't miss. Sixto Sanchez can't miss. Where is he at? The top 25 Philadelphia athletes list. So we're going to have the author, Bradford Pearson from Philly Mag, joining us coming up at 8:30. So I made sure to ask Bradford before we have to do the whole song and dance when he comes on, what went into this, right? Like, was this just off the top of his head? He was like, all right, let me come up with this 25 list. Did he do research? Did he talk to people? And so I did get a response that he asked the staff and contributors to send all names that they could think of that exuded Philadelphia. And they came up with close to 70 names and had to narrow it down to 25. The staff also voted for their top 10. So that's how they were able to basically get 1 through 25. How many votes did this person get versus how many votes did that person get? So the criteria, this is what he told the writers. And so you can base this yourself or you can give your own answers. These aren't necessarily the best athletes. The ones that you first think of when you think of Philadelphia, the players that played here. There's not a single shining definition of what makes an athlete Philly, in quotes. Yes, some will be underdogs. Some will have blue-collar attitude. I'm sure the word gritty could be used in the package. He says, but then again, someone like Dr. J doesn't really check some of those boxes. But Dr. J is a legend in Philadelphia. So here's what I'm going to do for you. It's going to be easy. For you to be in the running for the pair of Sixers tickets in the spot and knockout, or we also have the two $50 gift cards to Rita's. So we will have 3 winners by the end of the show today. We will, throughout the course of the show, go through the top 25 list that they put together. And I will save the top 10 for when Amy gets here because Amy knows all about the city as well. I'm excited to go through this list with Amy before we speak to Bradford Pearson at 8:30 today. Who are your top 3 Philadelphia guy or gal athletes? And I just want you to text them in at 610-632-0975. And Connor's going to have to work hard today. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
You're going to tally it because I want to see from the people. With all due respect to the writers at Philly Mag, I don't know if everybody's from Philadelphia. Right? Like, how am I supposed to know that a guy from New York City might not be writing for Philly Mag and may not be able to understand it as much? The people listening to the show are from the area. And so I know that. So we will have our consensus list, and we will compare it to what Bradford Pearson and the team at Philly Mag put together. Now, they have 25. We just need what you end up getting tally-wise, the consensus 1, 2, and 3. You could tell us who was 4th and 5th, that there was a close running. But text in 610-632-0975 the 3 names that stand out to you. Now, the list is pretty good. There is an egregious miss. Egregious. And there is a living being, is all I'll say, on the list that should not be on it because it's offensive. It's offensive to me and to a lot of people. This living being should not be on this list. But when I think of like the top 3 like Philadelphia guys or gals that played in Philadelphia and sort of lived the city, Allen Iverson by far is number 1. And I don't think that can be disputed. I don't think that can be beaten because of the size, right? 6 feet tall, played with every ounce of his body that he had, played injured,
lived a lifestyle that, we celebrated, right? It may have been exhausting at points at the time. But the way we still talk about Allen Iverson, there's a reason why we still talk about him. I think Allen Iverson is by far number one, can't be beat. Another name that I thought of when I was thinking about this, and this is way before you and I were alive, Connor. If you play both sides of the ball in football, and you also literally have a concrete company in the offseason, and you were born in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Chuck Bednarik has to be like a top 3 Philadelphia guy or gal athlete. I mean, there's photos of him, ripping bogues and cigars. We all remember the Gifford. No, we don't remember seeing it, but we know the story. Concrete Charlie, like he has to be. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough for me to say a guy that I didn't watch because I think a big part of it is play style too. Like personality plays.
But part of our job is also understanding the history.
No, I understand. Just for me to relate to somebody, it's easier for the athletes that I watch. But I can't debate against it. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying he's not the first person that comes to mind for me.
All right. Is Iverson on there?
Yeah.
All right. Do you have another name that comes to your mind?
Yeah, and people are not going to like it. I don't think, because I think this guy has...
Scott Rowland.
No, not Scott Rowland. Stop it. I think this guy has lost a little standing post-playing career because he's everywhere. But I think of Jason Kelce.
Jason Kelce is definitely a great consideration, especially the way he talked about the city while playing here. And I understand what you're saying. He's everywhere, so there is fatigue.
But underdog, undersized, had to work his way, was the face of celebrating the Eagles' first ever Super Bowl championship. How could he not be that guy?
I know the speech is what people first think of with Jason Kelce. One of the first things I think of, and I'm serious, is when he was asked about what it's like playing in Philadelphia. And whoever the reporter was brought up Ben Simmons. He addressed it like head on. And that's a guy that's understanding what's going on around him, not just like Eagles. Like Ben Simmons, Sixers player. He understood what was going on around him. And he was able to answer the question while almost like kind of being like, yo, dude, get your head out of your ass. Like, this city might be tough. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. But man, if you just try, you're going to be loved. Like, think about the hockey teams in the past. Muckers and grinders. Like, we celebrated that kind of stuff. Think about baseball. Guys that just Chase Utley. The reason why people like Chase Utley is because he busted it down the line every time, right? He's a player that I can tell you is on the list, right? He's on the top 25 list. There are the way people play, that's a big part of it. But to your point, the way you live the city on your sleeve, Jason Kelce should be a top consideration. So here's what we're going to do. Coming up next, there's 25 names. I'll give you the first 5. I'm not going to go through all 25 because I'm not going to exhaust you, all right? I'll give you the first 5 names that come in on this list that Philly Mag put together. You're going to hear Tyrese Maxey's name because Tyrese Maxey's name is mentioned in the first 5. Tyrese Maxey had something pretty interesting to say earlier this week when they had this special NBC broadcast that did not go well for the Sixers because they lost to the Celtics. And it was what Joel Embiid challenged him to do. And, of course, I saw responses. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, tomorrow. Last chance this month. I know it's early on. It's March 3rd, but it's the only event we're doing this month until we do 2 in April before the playoffs start in hoops. I'm hanging out with you at McCloskey's Tavern in Ardmore with my friends from Corona. Wednesday, March 4th, tomorrow, for the Sixers pregame party before the Sixers take on the Jazz. That should be a win, regardless of who's playing for the Sixers. 6:30 to 8:30, McCloskey's Tavern. It's going to be the place to be. Hang out with us, talk some hoops, and get in that game day mindset. Awesome drink specials, the $5.50 Corona Extra and Corona Light bottles. Grab a cold one. Enjoy the atmosphere. I had so much fun at the Green Parrot in Newtown last week. I want to continue that tomorrow when we're at McCloskey's Tavern in Ardmore. Plus, one lucky fan will be walking away with a pair of tickets to an upcoming Sixers home game. The person that won last week, I hear it every time. Every time I do these events. I never win anything. Well, you won last week, and she was thrilled. So we'll have another winner
tomorrow. Don't miss it. Tomorrow night, 6:30 to 8:30 at McCloskey's Tavern in Ardmore. It's the Corona Fanatic Sixers pregame party. I'll see you there. You got to be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Another win for the Flyers. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers are building some momentum here as we move even closer to the playoffs in the NHL. They took down the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-2 last night via the shootout. Noah Cates had a strong game with a goal and an assist in the win. Dan Vladar, as he has been for a large part of this year, very important in between the pipes to the victory and in the shootout.
On the left side from the top of the circle, goes in front, took the shot, saved by Dan Vladar, and the Flyers win it in the shootout. 2-1 shootout win, and Philadelphia's won 3 in a row for the third time this season.
Great call by Tim Saunders here on 97.5 The Fanatic. The Flyers have the next 2 nights off before taking on Utah on Thursday. And remember, NHL trade deadline is Friday. We'll keep you updated on all the news and rumors. Sixers host the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama tonight at 8 p.m. as they look to continue their playoff push. No Joel Embiid again in this one. He's still recovering from an oblique strain. You can hear that game live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Phillies take on the Rays today down in spring training, 1:05 p.m. first pitch. And Monday marks the start of the legal tampering period of the NFL offseason. So we'll keep you updated on any Eagles news that pops up as we draw closer to that date. Amy Fadul joins us at the 8 o'clock hour, and we'll stay for the rest of the show. This update is brought to you by Text Now. Some people still pay $100 a month for phone service. Text Now gives you 5G without the 5-figure commitment. Unlimited talk, unlimited text, unlimited freedom to switch things up. Try Text Now today. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic.
More of Kincade and Salciunas coming your way now.
7 a.m. hour is brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, it is 7:30 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Johnny the K is out on vacation this week. So I'll give you the first 5 names in the top 25 Philadelphia athletes list that Philly Mag put together. Again, it does not mean that they are from here. It's just they represented Philadelphia on their sleeve. You know, whether they played here or, you know, they're from here. And the first one is another one that 100% should be on the list. And I'm shocked it's only at 25. At number 25, again, if you're just tuning in, text in your top 3. And as soon as you do that, you are automatically in the running for the pair of Sixers tickets, Sixers Bulls, March 25th. And one of you will be able to play a spot in Knockout. We also have 2 $50 gift cards to Rita's. And I also have a couple on YouTube. Connor said the text line is already blown up. He asked, what am I doing to him? Sorry. Number 25 is Vince Papale. That has to be higher. Has to be. We're talking about a guy that, you know, walked on to the Eagles, man. That's everybody's dream. Everybody's dream was to play for one of the 4 teams that they grew up loved watching, right? And he walked on. Like, that's ridiculous.
It's a great story.
Okay.
Him as an individual, I can understand him being 25.
I'm just like, it is a great story, and it's his story, and then he lived it. I don't know.
I know he did. That's why it's a movie, and Brian Dawkins' NFL career is not a movie, but Dawkins greater than
Sure.
Papale.
All right. Well, Papale is at 25. 24 is Tyrese Maxey. That could continue to climb as more time goes by whenever they do this list again 10 years from now. When you and I are doing the show 10 years from now, we'll see if Tyrese Maxey moves up. 23 is Whitey, Richie Ashburn. 22, Carly Lloyd, Olympic gold medalist. Of course, she did play for teams around the area. In case people don't know, she once played for the South Jersey Banshees. How about the New Jersey Wildcats? Not only is she from here, from Delran, but she's also played in the area. And then the 5th one I'll give you is Randall Tex Cobb at 21. So we're going way back. All right. Now, credit to the Philly Mag. Again, there's a player that is not on here that I'm going to talk about later on. And there is a living being or once living being that is on this that I think is offensive that it's on this list. But they did a lot of research and years of research, right? They're not doing current players. They're not doing the last decade. Hell, we're the test to do by Joel Embiid.
Like my 4th year, Joel was on me like, hey, you're going to have to be the vocal leader of this team. That's where Arthur James left. And at that point, I'm 22 years old, and I was just trying to lead as far as, like, example on the court. But now, extremely vocal every single day, every single timeout, halftime, playing, wherever the case may be, I'm extremely vocal, and I just want my teammates to know that I believe in them.
So it's interesting because I knew what responses would come up when I saw this on social media. Thanks to our man Austin Jones for sending it to me. There were people ripping Embiid that he passed on the leadership to the young kid Tyrese Maxey after James Harden left. Why do people rip Joel Embiid for it? The reason why I asked that question, is it not Kyle Schwarber that's the vocal leader of the Philadelphia Phillies and not Bryce Harper? Now, I get it. There's a big difference in terms of the age. Kyle Schwarber has gone through the wars, has won a World Series, has had plenty of playoff success, whereas we did not get that, or whereas Tyrese Maxey had not experienced that just yet. But I knew people would react that way, complaining that Joel Embiid wanted to have Tyrese Maxey be the vocal leader. And I just laugh at it because Bryce Harper, who a lot of people love, is not the vocal leader of the Philadelphia Phillies. But what makes things even interesting is yesterday I'm listening to Middays with Marks, and Johnny Marks had this to say about what the Sixers should do soon.
Is it time to start over? And you know what that means? You're pretty much trading everything but two players. You're keeping Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, maybe some role players because, you don't have to give them away. Are you starting over? Are you trying to get rid of Embiid? Are you firing Daryl Morey? It feels like it's time to start over. I wasn't trading Embiid just to trade Embiid because you were never going to get value, and the only way that you had any chance to win was you have this magical season where he stays healthy enough and there's just, everybody's getting along and there's this great vibe and they're winning with defense. 2001 76ers, right? And Embiid's able to play enough. So it never made sense before to me to trade him, even when you could, because what are you getting back? A bunch of first-round draft picks? Hey, who cares? You're going to suck if you trade Joel Embiid. I still thought even if it was a 10% chance that they could get to an Eastern Conference final or a 20% chance, I still thought that there was a chance if everything goes right. I'm done hoping everything goes right. It's not. It is what it is. It's time to start over. I don't need to do this for another year and then you're starting over in a year. Let's start the process now with a new GM, with a new eye, with a new plan, to where I would just like to get to an Eastern Conference final or feel like I had a chance to get to one. I mean, Jesus, you got to start somewhere. They went backwards.
This is such an interesting conversation for me, right? Because we had that guy that I reached back out to on Instagram yesterday. I hadn't seen his message from 3 days earlier, where he was talking about, if Embiid's hurt or if Embiid's healthy, and if Maxey continues to play at this level and VJ plays at this level and Paul George comes back ready to go, they're dangerous. And I'm like, brother, you're doing it to yourself. You're setting yourself up for disappointment because a lot of things have to go right for a team where a lot of things typically go wrong. But to Johnny Marks' point, that's why I'm not trading Joel Embiid, is because if things click, they are dangerous. And if he stays healthy, they're dangerous. But I can't continue to just bank on that. I just have to wait and see at this point. I don't have hope anymore. I don't. I have to wait and see. What's interesting is he talks about getting a new GM. I'm not thrilled with what Daryl Morey has done recently, right? I'm not thrilled with that trade of Jared McCain. But he's talking about the two players he wants to build around, Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. Who was the one that made those decisions? Daryl Morey.
Yeah.
Daryl Morey was the one that drafted Tyrese Maxey with the 21st overall pick. Daryl Morey was the one to draft VJ Edgecombe when 95% of the city was screaming for Ace Bailey. And it seems like it's worked out for the Sixers. Part of me wonders, does Daryl Morey feel handcuffed to Embiid at times? You couldn't let him walk, right? You couldn't. He's so good. He's the face of the franchise. The most success that he's had was when he was in Houston, and it was that run-and-gun style of play, and James Harden was a freak. They didn't have some super big man that was so successful. I wonder if Daryl Morey could start over, what direction he would go in.
I guess. Has he ever really been a full start-over guy?
Well, with Houston, when he made the trade for James Harden. And then they were the only team that came close to taking down that Warriors.
But didn't he basically try and do that here, even with Embiid?
Yeah, he did.
At this point,
he tried running it back. We complain about Dave Dombrowski running back. He tried running it back here with Houston players.
So I can't look at this, and I don't know if this is fully your point or not. Would Daryl Morey would he have been better, viewed better if he didn't have Embiid to not deal with, but to build around? He tried to do the same thing even with him here. So I
just don't know. Look, I don't know what the next step is. Right? Is it moving on from Morey and hoping that the next GM does something? What would you have done differently than Morey going into this season, other than the trading of Jared McCain in the year? You probably wouldn't have done anything differently. Now, you wouldn't have signed Paul George. I wouldn't have signed Paul George, but that was 2 years ago. It's just the Sixers' future. I don't know what the correct direction is because you can't go complete rebuild because you do have two solid players here to start in Tyrese Maxey. Now, I don't know who Tyrese Maxey ultimately becomes. Anthony M. Schmall on social media reaches out to me. Connor, he says, me and a coworker posed a question around the office. Is Tyrese Maxey better than Iverson?
I can't say if we said yes or no, but it was a very close debate. We both agreed Maxey will end up being better, even though Iverson was extremely polarizing and the living embodiment of a legend. My response was, until Maxey carries a team, ... Like, Iverson carried a basketball team to the NBA champion.
Yeah, this guy's 25. Allen Iverson is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, like I can't do that. I love Tyrese Maxey, but I've not seen enough to be able to say build around piece.
Well, he's a build around piece.
He's a build with piece.
He's a build around piece. You don't think he's a build around piece? He's putting together an all NBA season.
Yeah, this year. And whenever Joel Embiid's out, it doesn't look as good.
How many guys do you see put together an all NBA season and then don't come close to it again? It's not baseball where a guy just all of a sudden hits 40 home runs and then falls off the face of the earth.
Yeah, but we also see with Embiid, without Embiid. There are differences.
That's why you got to build around him. Because right now the pieces that he's built with are not available. One's suspended and the other one's hurt every other day.
I know. It's not fun. Look, I feel for Max. I do, because every other night it's something different. All right, what have we gotten so far on the text line? I'll tell you on YouTube, because I'm monitoring the YouTube situation. We're asking you to tell us who you believe are the top 3 Philadelphia guy or gal athletes of all time. And the majority have voted Iverson and B-Doc. Those have been the 2, and then we've had, a tie of a bunch of people. What has been, you're tallying in there like crazy. What have been like the number 1 or 2 answers so far? I imagine Iverson and B-Doc?
Yes, Iverson and Dawkins, the clear leaders.
Okay. So we will continue to go through this list here. I'll give you a couple more right now. So I already told you the first 5 were Vince Papale, Tyrese Maxey, Richie Ashburn, Carly Lloyd, Randall Tex Cobb. Those were your first 5. Number 20, Stevie Williams, skateboarding. See, that's not my world.
Mine either.
I won't be. I'm sure there's somebody out there that goes, yes, Stevie Williams. I know Stevie Wonder. I don't know Stevie Williams. 19, Jameer Nelson. I think that's a great answer. Not something that would have come to the top of my head, but I think that's a great answer. Number 18, Monet Davis. Chuck Bednarik at 17. I had him as one of my top 3, Connor. And then B-Hop, Bernard Hopkins at 16. So there's more. There's 15 more that we'll go through as the show continues. Well, I want to know from you. I want to get the consensus, because we're going to have the writer of this article on at 8:30. And we'll compare where the consensus of the Philadelphia sports fan listeners are versus the team at Philly Mag. All you got to do is text in the 3 names, 610-632-0975. You'll also be in the running for the Sixers Bulls tickets on Knockout Night. And we have 2 $50 gift cards to give away to read us. Coming up next, I'll give you a couple more names. And also, it is today's Headlines with Connor Thomas here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic app.
All right, 7:47 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. And you know what? We haven't gotten to it yet. Doesn't mean it's not always up. The Twitter poll. Is the Twitter poll up and strong thanks to our friends over at Iron Mountain Men's Health, Connor Thomas, with Dr. Avi Donapel? What do we got today? We've been talking about what you define success as when it comes to Philadelphia sports. What do we got?
All right, so you have a couple of options on today's Twitter poll. How do you measure success in sports? 3 options: winning championships, consistent contenders, or daily entertainment. Right now, consistent contenders leading the way with winning championships in second and daily entertainment in third.
It's amazing because we all complain when they get eliminated. But we're all happy that they were at least there. And that is gotta go deep in your feelings with that one. Because a lot of times it's all about winning the title for a lot of people. But for most of us, I think we're just happy to be there sometimes. Which is also kind of weak, but you'd rather be there than be the White Sox. All right, before I give you a couple, or one name, before I give you one name on this top 25 list, and then we have today's headlines with Connor Thomas. Just saw the post from our man Jason Martinez. I just retweeted it. He's about to go under for his procedure, his latest procedure. So we're thinking of you, Mert. Thoughts, prayers, good vibes, whatever it is that you're into, send them over to Jason Martinez. As he said on his tweet, let's get this sheesh done. Go get him, Jason. All right, number 15 on the top 25 list. It's offensive. Smarty Jones. A horse cannot exude Philadelphia.
What do you mean?
A horse cannot represent a city on its sleeve. I don't know if it likes the corn around here. I don't know.
What do you think horses eat?
I don't know if it likes the hay around here.
There you go.
What do we? Smarty Jones can't be on this list. I will tell Bradford Pearson when he joins at 8:30 that you can't have a horse on a list.
I need to hear the explanation from them on this.
Because I will tell you right now, before we finish off the list, Jimmy Rollins is not on it. And I'm offended by that. The guy that was the face, the vocal leader, the guy that started it all, that run. And you want to talk about living Philadelphia. Guy hasn't left. Obviously he goes away, but he comes back. He got the big gig at TBS, but he was doing stuff for the Phillies on NBC Sports Philadelphia. He loves this city. You mean to tell me a horse made a list of people that represent Philadelphia?
Well, it was athletes.
Over a guy like Jimmy Rollins, who actually represented Philadelphia? Or you can name probably 100 other people, not a horse? I'll need to get that explanation later. All right, it's time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
Hey, it's brought to us by our friends over at Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. We've got a great deal, maybe, that we need to talk about that they're doing at Busch Stadium this year. Did you get a chance to see what the Cardinals are bringing to Busch Stadium?
Oh, yes, I did. And it's awesome. And it once again reminds me that other teams can do this and they just don't do it.
So they are doing a $29 ticket for all you can eat. There are a lot of options on here. Also, all you can drink. It's brought to them by Coca-Cola. And you can get unlimited. And then after that, it says up to 3 items per visit. So I guess not technically unlimited. Or is it unlimited of those 3 items?
I'm going to guess if you do Dollar Dog Day, well, when it used to be Dollar Dogs and not BOGO nights, the max you could buy was 4 at one time. You could not, and then you could go back and get another 4. But
per visit,
you could not be load up 20 hot dogs on this tray, please.
Okay, so here are the options. You can get ice cold fountain Coca-Cola products, hot dogs, chicken tenders, bratwurst, nachos, French fries, popcorn, peanuts, kettle chips, and ice cream cups. $29, not just for the all you can eat. That's with the ticket.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. More teams can do this. More teams should do this. It gives people the opportunity that don't get to go to the games often. Oh, by the way, that just grows your fan base even more. Because imagine somebody that's not really the biggest baseball fan, but goes, you know what? For $29, I can do all this. Maybe you get a new fan who then buys your merchandise. It's a smart play. It's I commend the Falcons for doing it. Another team in football recently did it where they're lowering the cost. Your tickets are so freaking expensive to begin with. In some like St. Louis, I imagine those tickets go pretty expensive when the Cardinals are playing well, right?
Yeah,
because
just right now they're not.
Right now they're not. But that's a great deal. And more teams can do this and should do this. We're not asking you to do it every single day. We're not asking you to do it every single week. But you do these events every once in a while. People will come, Ray. Oh, people will most certainly will come. I told you about the Clearwater Threshers. I will be there for opening day of Clearwater baseball when I'm in Florida. My dad and I are going. $1 day. $1 tickets, $1 beers, $1 burgers, $1 pretzels.
$1 beers?
$1 beers.
Oh, that's trouble.
You don't think the Clearwater Threshers wouldn't mind making a lot of money? Because, once the Phillies leave. But that probably gets people in the seats. And maybe it makes them go back another day.
Yeah, it certainly does. So shout out the Cardinals for being bad enough to offer that deal, and good luck to all the folks in St. Louis enjoying it. We'll go to this next because Chloe Kim, who of course is a famous snowboarder here in the United States and was in the Winter Olympics, she was on Jimmy Fallon.
Say, of course, I had no idea.
You didn't know who Chloe Kim was?
I don't really watch the Olympics other than hockey and the occasional, oh, look, it's on at the bar that I'm at.
Well, that's a perfect lead-in because mistaken identity is how she ended up with Myles Garrett. Take a listen to this back and forth with her and Jimmy Fallon.
Friend that introduced us. I think he said his name, but I thought he said Martin Garrix. So the whole time I was at the game, I was waiting for him to perform.
Yeah. DJ.
Right. So halftime comes around and I'm like, where's Martin Garrix?
She thought because she was being told by like a representative of hers, there was another client that was Myles Garrett. She thought she was seeing a DJ show. Ended up seeing Myles Garrett play Cleveland Browns football.
Wow.
And then they ended up together. So credit to that. But
worked out.
If you're Myles Garrett, are you like, hey, did you kind of just fall into this? Is there a little like backhanded?
I think that's a happy story.
Okay.
It's like the I imagine somebody that's listening to the show can tell me that at one point they went on a date, it didn't go well, they went to another bar, and then they met somebody. It sounds very rom-com-ish, but I'm sure that's happened to somebody. Has it happened to you?
No. I don't meet people on the dates I'm on. But yeah, shout out to them for finding love, even though she thought he was a DJ. And we'll just round out with something real quick. If you haven't seen it, you need to. Have you seen the Big 12 tournament court that is going to be part of the college basketball?
I did, and I saw a theory that somebody has, but go ahead.
So it's like almost holographic under the actual court surface where they can change the lights and the logos and everything. Tap of an iPad, they can change the stuff super quickly. And it looks awesome. Go look up a video if you haven't seen it yet.
It does look awesome.
Something's going to get screwed up.
That's the theory. Somebody believes some college kid that knows how to code is going to somehow be able to hack into it, and then you got...
Oh, no. I'm not even worried about that. I'm worried about the one person trusted with pressing the buttons, or, I don't know, the wires that set it up maybe going out so that the out-of-bounds lines now don't exist anymore.
Or somebody puts a Johnson on the court.
Oh, that's what you're worried about? I'm not worried about a Johnson. I'm worried about the integrity of the game.
You just love ball. That's it. All right. Coming up next.
I'm not going to follow that up.
Coming up next, Amy Fadul. It's a Tuesdays with Amy. She's here already. She's ready to go. She's excited to come in today. Amy will be in studio with us for the remainder of the show. We have 14 more names on this Philly Mag Top 25 list. I can't believe Smarty Jones made the list. To me, that's criminal, especially a guy like Jimmy Rollins not making it. That was the name I was looking for when I first read the list. We'll speak with the writer, Bradford Pearson, coming up at 8:30. But with Amy, we'll go through the rest of them. We'll also reset today's topics. What do you define success when it comes to Philadelphia sports? Is it all about the championship? It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Flyers outlast the Leafs. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers continue to keep their slim playoff hopes alive last night, beating the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-2 via the shootout up there in Canada. Noah Cates, a strong game for him, a goal and an assist in the win, and Dan Vladar had a great night in net again. Seems like he's been doing that often this year. They have the next 2 nights off before taking on Utah on Thursday. And remember, NHL trade deadline is on Friday, so we'll keep you updated on all the news and rumors you need to know about what the Flyers could do. Sixers host the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama tonight at 8 p.m. They've still got their playoff push going on as well. No Joel Embiid again in this one, as he continues to recover from an oblique strain. You can hear that game live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Phils take on the Rays today at 1:05 p.m. as their spring training slate continues, and Monday is the start of the legal tampering period of the NFL offseason, so we keep you updated on any Eagles news that pops up as we draw closer to that date. Amy Fadul joins us next in studio. She'll be with us for the remainder of the show. This update is brought to you by Corona. Join Andrew Salciunas Wednesday, March 4th. That's tomorrow. from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at McCloskey's Tavern in Ardmore for a Corona Sixers pregame party. Enjoy $5.50 Corona bottles and your chance to win Sixers home game tickets. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
Got it produced. Charity comes in many forms. Kincade and Salciunas is back from the break. I wonder what they're going to get into.
Well, half of us are back from the break. John Kincade is on vacation, but it is still a Tuesday. So we continue to handle business as usual. In studio now for the rest of the show, the great Amy Fadul.
Great.
Hello, Amy. Good
Hello.
morning.
Hello.
You're sitting in John's chair
sitting
today.
in John's chair.
Well, keep it warm for him.
Usually I'm over there, but today Andrew was like, "You can sit there." I was like, "I think I will."
Well, I'm glad that you're here. We have plenty to discuss.
Yes.
Did you hear Smarty Jones?
I
made
did.
the
I was
list?
listening the whole way in.
That's
so
criminal.
I was already here for the Smarty. It is.
I will.
And listen,
I will question that
as a
when
horseman,
Bradford's on.
I have covered horse racing. I enjoy horse racing thoroughly, very much. I've covered it in Kentucky, and then when I worked in Baltimore as well. The connections, the whole lineage, it's great. I don't know that a horse. I guess the idea, because, and I read the article, that the horse, embodied that kind of, go get 'em type of underdog spirit, because it was an underdog. But it's not the longest shot to ever come home in the Derby.
By the way,
it's not even close.
I know technology's improved, and unfortunately, Smarty's no longer with us.
Correct.
I don't know if they ever put like wires on the horse's brain and asked, "Hey, do you like it here?" For all I know, Smarty Jones might be Alec Boehm saying, "I bleep and hate it here." I don't know.
I will. Yeah, I think he enjoyed his time here.
Sure, he had some fun until they took him out back.
No, poor Smarty.
All right,
that was one of the future wagers I won.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So you can do future. I won good money on him.
That's awesome. Yeah. And all the success you've had because of it. All right, so in case you're just tuning in, we're going to be speaking with Bradford Pearson, who is a writer for Philly Mag. And in their March edition, they put together the top 25 athletes that represented Philadelphia either here or elsewhere, because I saw Dawood, our man on YouTube, complaining that Jameer Nelson is on the list. Well, first off, he played collegiately here, and that was one of the more famous Philly runs in recent years. Other than obviously you had Nova, but you want to talk about underdog?
I mean, nationally, that was before I got here. Nationally, everyone was talking about St. Joe's, a small Catholic university on City Line Avenue.
Jameer and Delonte,
everybody knew
that's
their
what
names.
it was.
That was a very fun story. They were undefeated until obviously the tournament or their conference tournament, and wow.
Yeah, I don't know why
I
there was
wouldn't have
pushback.
exception from that one.
Yeah, but we'll continue to go through it. But before we do that, some of the other topical stuff. So we have a Twitter poll running. Is it still up, Connor?
Yes, it's still up.
And it's up because of our friends over at Iron Mountain Men's Health, Amy, Dr. Avi Donapel. They always make sure that the poll is strong here in the mornings. And what is the question that we have on Twitter?
How do you measure success in sports? 3 options: winning championships, consistent contenders, or daily entertainment. Winning championships has now overtaken consistent contenders.
Is that right? Okay.
57% of the vote, 43% consistent contenders, not a single vote yet for daily entertainment.
That's fine.
I mean, that's not successful.
It's
fun.
Yeah, it's just fun. I was entertained watching
The process was-
KJ McDaniels
Yeah, exactly.
dunk, but I also knew KJ McDaniels did not have a future in the NBA. A lot of people push back on that one. It's exactly how it played out. Same with Tony Roten. It was fun watching him drop 20 and turn the ball over 19 times in a game. That was entertaining. So, Amy, this morning, yesterday at the end of the show, I played a clip. I heard a promo running on the ESPN overnight from my friends, Freddie and Harry, Freddie Coleman, Harry Douglas on ESPN Radio. And they were talking about Philadelphia fans. And they were like, Philadelphia fans, they're great. They'll talk smack about their teams, but the second you do, they're going to attack you, kind of like the big brother, little brother theory. But if you win, you're going to be the most celebrated person in the city. I mean, look, Nick Foles, my grandchildren's grandchildren will talk about Nick Foles down the road. He will be a forever
He's got
legend.
a statue, for Pete's sake.
So if you win, you'll always be loved. So we're doing different Philadelphia-related topics because we have this top 25 list that we'll continue to go through. In the 9 o'clock hour, we'll talk about how much we actually put up financially and if we get back what we deserve. Mm-hmm. But our question to start is, what do you consider success when it comes to Philadelphia sports? Do we get back what we put in, the energy, the time that we spend? Do we get back what we put in? Because there is you got to win the championship feeling for some teams, depending on the context of what's going on. But, man, I'd rather be the Phillies than the White Sox. As much as they bother me, I can talk about why they bother me, and it's because I think they will come up small from winning the World Series for XYZ, whereas the White Sox will come up small because they stink.
Because there's no commitment to winning.
There is no playoffs for them.
I think you have to go back and think about how you felt about the Eagles during Andy Reid's tenure. Did you look at that as a successful?
I absolutely did.
And most people do. But there are some people that say, oh,
they didn't win anything.
They didn't win anything. He got there. He never got us over the threshold. It was kind of like just meh.
I brought up 7-11 for the Phillies. There are people that to this day say they should have won more.
Oh, yes.
And I go, yeah, 11 was the most disappointing end to a Phillies season. The only one that rivals it is 2023 because you had a 3-2 lead coming back to Philadelphia. You were in the NLCS. But 2011, it's the best team of my lifetime, and they lose in round 1. In Game 5, they lose 1-0. But, I can't say that era was a disappointment because they only won one World Series.
And that's the thing. It's just you get spoiled with that kind of success. Yeah, 2011 is going to go down as one of those of just my gosh, how does that team not even go to the World Series?
Right.
Much less not win it. Not even there. But I think you have to look about how you view these times or have been successful, the sustained success type of vibe. And I think for me, it's all about at least you're in the conversation. We've been there when these teams were not in the conversation. All 4 of them, 5 of them, if you want to include the Union, and now they've kind of come back on as well. So you're looking at any team that you're a fan of. How do you not, if you're just sitting there and you're like, oh, I love college basketball, right? And when my team doesn't make the tournament, it is disdainful.
Yeah.
Do I look at my team as having been successful in the last 25 years because they've won one title in that time? Yeah. But a lot of people are like, no.
No,
and there's a lot of people.
more.
Exactly. I don't know.
So when
it's hard for me.
So the poll saying winning a championship is still in the lead. I just updated 57% now. So it's climbing. So what you're telling me, if you're one of the 57%,
you thought the Andy Reid era was not successful.
You believe that the 2022 Phillies to today's date is the same level of success as the 10-year playoff drought. That's kind of what you're telling me. If it's all about winning a championship, 10 years from now, if this Phillies team never wins a World Series, we will talk about it, and we will point to the disappointment that they never accomplished that goal. But I will at least look back at this era. I don't want to look back at the other era. I don't want to think about Tommy Joseph or Nick Williams or Aaron Altair unless it's Dylan McKinnon doing the Name That Philly that we do on Instagram. That's the only time I want to think about those players.
Well, and it's also like you think about there has been some real dearths, real like low periods in this in our lifetimes, and certainly a lot of people. There's a reason the 93 Phillies are celebrated so much.
Yes.
One, yes, they went to the World Series, but think about the years before and the years after. There was nothing going on. There was no hope of playoffs. The only reason you got an all-star in some of those years is because they had to get an all-star. It is just one of those things where just like you don't want to go back to that. Just because you got to the World Series, you think, are the 90s a successful decade for the Phillies? No.
I wonder because, look, we weren't alive, Connor, all right? And you weren't here yet, Amy. I wonder how many people that lived the 93 Phillies.
Oh, it's people's favorite team. Over 08.
I know, and that's crazy. But, like, this run that the Phillies have gone on, right? We're not talking about the Phillies in 93 got to the World Series and the other years they fell short. Like, they didn't make the playoffs. They stunk. Whereas this team is in the playoffs every single year, and we rip them to shreds. Deservedly so. For certain things, deservedly so. But from 22, and I expect this year as well, World Series contenders.
Yeah.
That 93 Phillies team was a blip on the radar.
They're a blip.
And yet they're talked about like they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. Mopar earlier today I'm guessing he would rather have this stretch than the 93 because he was like, that was a one-and-done thing. Like, I don't look at that as a successful mission.
No, you could go down and no one was going to the games because there wasn't a good product on the field. It was really bad. Well, it's the same thing with, the buddy ball for the Eagles. All of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, this team's great. There's nothing there before and after that team.
Yeah.
With the Seth Joyners and the whatnot. Like, it is funny because maybe those stand out more because of that. And those are the people that think like a championship is how it's got to be.
Yeah.
But I think if you really thought about it, how you define success, the enjoyment that you get out of your team at least being the conversation every year and not being a joke, that's successful to me.
That's important.
The tough thing with the 93 comparison to this one, when we talk about the Phillies, is they had the strike the next year that could have potentially affected how they played out the rest of what that team was. And this year, like this course team, at least we're not heading into like a strike. I will say, though,
to that point, nobody expected 93. Nobody expected it.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. It's almost like 2022 in that regard as far as the run. The expectations for 2022 is that they would have a successful season.
Yeah, because they had the players to do it.
You didn't think they were going to make it to the World Series.
Right.
But in 93, it was like
I get what you're saying about the lockout, but I think a lot of people were like, how is this team here right now? Let's just enjoy the party.
No, I was just saying it's got to happen again to this team.
Yeah, well, hopefully they get to the World Series. Yeah, hopefully they get there. By the way, 32 on our YouTube chat. You can't say Andy Reid was successful when you complain about Sirianni every day, Chunas. I have said Nick Sirianni is the greatest coach in Eagles franchise history. This is the greatest run in Eagles franchise history. Does not mean that he doesn't drive me nuts. He does drive me nuts. And there have been 2 collapses where he's standing there going, what collapse? So he drives me crazy.
Yeah, but I would trade every time, and this doesn't drive me as crazy. No, not this run. I'd rather have a coach that like stands there and goes, what collapse? And then every other year goes to the Super Bowl and wins one.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take that a billion times.
That trend needs to continue this year, though.
Yeah, it would help.
All right, Amy.
Yes, sir.
Let's give a couple more of these names. If you're just tuning in, Philadelphia Magazine put together the top 25 athletes that have played in this city, that have represented the city at its best, and number 15 was Smarty Jones. I think that's horrible. We'll speak with the writer, Bradford Pearson, coming up at 8:30, and I will confront Bradford about Smarty Jones being at number 15. It's not just his list. It was the whole team at Philly Magazine. Barkley's at 14. Chase Utley's at 13. I'm surprised it's only 13 the way this city loves Chase Utley. A name that I'm glad we were able to research. You and I knew this article came out. I don't think it was published yet last week, but we were sent it to us.
Yes.
Or a Washington.
Yeah, so we talked about this off the air. We haven't had like more conversations.
She played both tennis and basketball. Now, we're going back to the 1900s.
But her life story, because you and I both did a deep dive on and I kept going. It's wild. The quote from Arthur Ashe is tremendous.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And what she was the first black tennis winner, female tennis winner.
Yes,
correct. Her story.
How do we not know this?
Her story is amazing, and I don't remember ever hearing about Ora Washington or anybody mentioning Ora Washington. So she's number 12. Mike Schmidt's 11, which is interesting. And then you have your top 10. I'll give those coming up in a little bit. What do we have on the text line? I'm asking the people, Amy, to give us the consensus top 3 because, with all due respect, I don't know if every writer from the Philly Mag is from Philadelphia.
Right.
They may just be doing research-based. What we're asking is the just gut feeling from people. And I know the majority have been Allen Iverson and B. Dawk so far. What are some of the names who's in the lead right now, the top 3, and what are some of the other names that you've gotten on the text line, Connor?
So we've tallied by hand in the first hour of this 166 total votes over 35 different athletes. You're killing me, Salciunas.
Well, I appreciate
your damn neck.
All right, let me appreciate you.
Thank you.
And I appreciate all of you for listening and being a part of the show today. And yes, you have the incentive that you could potentially win a pair of Sixers tickets March 25th, spot and knockout. And we also have two $50 gift cards to read us. So we have 3 prizes to give away. So I appreciate all of you.
Allen Iverson and Brian Dawkins still clearly leading. AI in the lead. Third place is Chase Utley by a mere 2 votes over Jason Kelce.
I knew it. I knew he would be from the Philly. And look, I can't, if we're getting consensus, right? Just because I don't feel it doesn't mean that my vote is gospel. I was surprised that he's number 13 on the article. I'm not surprised that he's third among our listeners.
No, of course not.
I'm shocked Jimmy Rollins did not make the list.
That's surprising to me because I'm excited to interview the writer of this because I'm imagining a lot of the research was talking to other people that are from Philadelphia.
Maybe.
And that's why one of the polls is going to show why, all right, well, Chase Utley's going to be, informal poll, is going to be higher because I feel like people recognize Chase as a Philly guy. The same reason that I would think that the Smarty Jones is going to be on there. I know you love that.
I don't know. Has anyone texted in Smarty Jones?
We had one person that said we don't respect horse racing enough. So,
listen, I respect horse racing a great deal.
But we've gotten votes all over the place on all kinds of
Who was fourth? Said Jason Kelce?
Kelce was fourth.
Not surprised. Not surprised by that.
Ricky Bowe did get a vote.
Oh, there are a lot of underdog, undersized. Smarty Jones was an undersized horse. Jason Kelce's an undersized center. I'm just going to bring it back.
I didn't know Smarty Jones was an undersized horse.
He's a smaller horse.
I missed that. I didn't.
You didn't know that?
How was the combine? How was Smarty's cone drill?
Do you know how they measure horses?
With a ruler?
Hands.
Oh.
They don't have any.
This is the information that we need to have.
Hands.
Oh. All right, your top 10. Wilt, number 10. Dick Allen, number 9. Bobby Clark, number 8. Julius Erving, number 7. Yeah. Dawn Staley, number 6.
That's way too low for me.
Too low?
Way too low for Dawn Staley.
Well, then who would you replace? Your top 5. So you have B. Dawk as number 2. They have him as 5. They have the Crucker at 4.
Let's go.
Jason Kelce 3. Joe Frazier 2. And AI consensus. Their list. Me.
Yeah.
Our texters, number 1. I don't think that can even be argued. Just everything, pound for pound.
Right. I'd probably move Dawn Staley up a little bit higher. Maybe move Kelce down. Just 1.
You just didn't want to say John Kruk because you might see him soon.
Well, no, Crucker should be on there because Crucker Crooker's the best. And I think, talking about the 93 team, just his lore on that team, his lore in baseball, the whole story about how he wanted to, I got a couple of hits. I'm just going to go home and I'm retired now. And he just literally left and drove back to West Virginia. Love that. And I think that his level of endearment now in the booth, I think that he talks like a fan with the rest of us. And
well, that's the other thing.
That's what he is. He's truly
He's
like
continued
us.
it. That's why I'm shocked Jimmy Rollins is not on the list.
Yes,
I'm shocked. The way he played, I understand. He didn't always bust it down the line. That's why I like Chase more.
I mean,
Jimmy Rollins was the face of that team, the vocal leader of that team. And, by the way, he still talks about Philadelphia highly, and he was with NBC Sports Philadelphia. I know he's got the big TBS thing now, but he was with.
Yeah,
he was around.
Yeah,
I was shocked. That
it is
Jimmy
weird to not have,
especially over a horse.
Just an update from our voters. We just got 4,000 more, so I'll tally those up. But Jimmy Rollins has 6 votes over the course of our tallying. Dawn Staley, Dr. J. Joe Frazier, the guys we all talked about, these are all folks at 2 votes. So they have Jimmy Rollins above all of these people that we just listed in the top 5.
Well, people realize Dawn Staley won at every single level. She won in high school, where she was the best high school player, and that's coming from guys like Rasheed Wallace saying
right.
better than him. She won in college. She won in the pros. She won a gold medal, several, by the way, and she literally resurrected South Carolina's basketball team.
Yeah.
And is they're constantly winning championships.
And she's always representing Philly too.
Constantly.
Always. If she's
on the sidelines wearing Eagles
that's
gear.
what I'm saying.
In South Carolina. She is the embodiment of it all.
So we'll speak with the author of this coming up next at 8:30. But let's go to our man Stan in Drexel Hill. Stan, let's talk a little Embiid. What's up, Stan?
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Stan.
My main thing. So I was like, man, they got.
All right, so we'll put Stan on hold. He's in some conversation
Stan's
right
talking
now.
to something about maybe some plumbing. I don't know what was a secondary call. We could have gotten in on it.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that. You never know when something might be said.
Exactly.
By the way, one name that I'm also surprised isn't on it. Because, again, one of the most beloved teams is the 1993 Phillies. Dutch not being on the list.
Yeah, I think he really did embody
That's an interesting not mention. So we will ask Bradford, did Dutch come close? Did J-Roll come close? How is Smarty Jones on this list over these?
I just told you he's a small horse. 16 hands. 16 hands.
All right. Well, Bradford Pearson of the Philly Mag will be joining us coming up next. You can continue to text in your consensus 3. We will tell Bradford what you have all said, but we can continue to update this. As long as you text in the 3 names that you think are deserving, you will be in the running for the pair of tickets, Sixers, Bulls, March 25th, spot and knockout. We also have, in case you don't win the Sixers tickets, 2 $50 gift cards to Rita's to give away today as well. So join us now, 610-632-0975. It is Kincade and Salciunas. Johnny on vacation all week long. It is a Tuesday with Amy. Amy Fadul with us in studio for the rest of the show. We'll be right back here on 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, let me tell you about my FanDuel Sportsbook app. How about this? Basketball fans, it's almost time for the Super Trey Day Sweepstakes. FanDuel, in partnership with the Valley Forge, is all about those three-pointer moments. And on March 3rd, well, that's today. That's 3-3. You have your own shot at a big win from downtown. You place a 3-point wager, and you'll be entered to win a share of over $3.3 million in bonus bets. So whatever player you want, give me a player prop of a 3-point shooter, over, under, take it. And if it hits, congratulations. But regardless, you will be in the running for the $3.3 million in bonus bets. Just download the Sportsbook app by going to FanDuel.com/local now to claim your profit boost to enter. You got to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania, no purchase necessary. Opt-in 1 required, limit 1 entry, profit boost bonus issued as knowledgeable profit boost token. Prizes issued as knowledgeable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration, the max wager amount. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A big night for Noah Cates. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers continued to keep their slim playoff hopes alive last night, taking down the Maple Leafs 3-2 via the shootout. Noah Cates, strong game for him, a goal and an assist up north of the border in the win, and Dan Vladar was big time in net, including in the shootout that led to the Flyers' victory.
On the left side from the top of the circle, goes in front, took a shot, saved by Dan Vladar, and the Flyers win it in the shootout. 2-1 shootout win, and Philadelphia's won 3 in a row for the third time this season.
Big win for them. Great call by Tim Saunders there, right here, live on 97.5 The Fanatic. They have the next 2 nights off before taking on Utah on Thursday. And remember, the NHL trade deadline's on Friday. Sixers host the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama tonight at 8 p.m. as they look to continue their playoff push. No Joel Embiid again in this one. He's still recovering from an oblique strain. You can hear that game live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Phils play the Rays today, 105 down in Florida. Spring training continues for them. And Monday marks the start of the legal tampering period of the NFL offseason. We'll keep you updated on any Eagles news that pops up as we draw closer to that date. We're also going to hear from the author of the Top 25 Philly Athletes article that we've been discussing coming up next. This update's brought to you by Uber Eats. Philly, you hungry? Good thing Uber Eats has a great deal waiting for you. Coco's Cookies and Creamery from now till March 31st. Get a buy one, get one free deal on a milkshake, all on the Uber Eats app. Order now only on Uber Eats. Terms apply. See app for details. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Kincade and Salciunas, 6 to 10 a.m.
time. Now let's listen to more Kincade and Salciunas before I change my mind.
It is 8:29 here on Kincade and Salciunas. Giant of the K on vacation this week. It is a Tuesday with Amy Fadul in studio for the rest of the show today. So we've been going through the Philadelphia Magazine's top 25 list of players that represented Philadelphia best while they were here. And we gave you the sort of reasons that went into it earlier in the show. It's not necessarily how talented they were. It's just, were they gritty, muckers, grinders, right? Tough, lunch pail, blue collar.
Exactly.
But they also love the city. Like a guy like Jason Kelsey loves the city of Philadelphia. Curious, one name that didn't make the list that none of us mentioned. Mr. Panderer himself. Bryce did not make the list.
I thought you were going to say Bill Colarulo for a second.
Well, no, that's if we did the top 25 Philadelphia radio hosts. But Bryce Harper did not make the list. And I love how the Pat McAfee show made it seem like they broke news yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw this. Oh, my God. Bryce Harper just told us it came down to the Phillies and Giants before he signed his contract.
Welcome to 2019.
What?
This is new? This is.
Ooh. Did he also know that Manny Machado was thinking about signing here?
Right. Like we all knew this.
You guys know he played in Washington?
No.
And they're acting like they broke news. Like, oh, that was a big day for us. Like, I respect what they've been able to accomplish, but like, what do you?
Okay. Well, let's do this. They're an entertainment show.
Yes. Yeah, I was not entertained by that.
That's
but
weird.
what I was entertained by, Amy, was this Philly Mag top 25.
Highly entertaining.
And we are now joined by the author of it, who spoke to a lot of people at the Philadelphia Magazine. Bradford Pearson joins us here on Kincade and Salciunas on a Tuesday with Amy. Bradford, good morning.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on. So we've been going through it, so thank you for the content today. There are things that we agree with. There are things that we disagree with. But before we even go through it, what led to you wanting to come up with this piece? And I know in the email I got, you spoke to about 70 people. I'm curious, was everybody from Philadelphia that you spoke to?
Oh, interesting. Well, the thing is, I should say straight off the bat, is that I'm not from Philadelphia originally. I came to Philly for college. I went to St. Joe's and then loved it so much that I stuck around. But, the thing is that we pulled lots of people. We pulled staffers, journalists, talked to athletes. And the thing that we all kind of agreed on was that, it would be fun to do a list of the best athletes, but it'd be more interesting and more entertaining to do a list of the people that sort of represented the city the most. And that's where you sort of come into these disagreements, right? Like if you just do a top athletes list, people who are the best and have the most titles or, the most scoring championships or whatever it is, then, it just comes down to numbers. But when you kind of get in between, you get work ethic, you get how they interacted with the community. That's when the list kind of gets a little bit more interesting and controversial.
So it has been controversial. Now, I will say we have been asking our audience to give us 3 names on our text line or our phone line or our YouTube comments section. And the consensus was what you guys came up with, Allen Iverson. He has been number 1 for the majority of our voters today. Brian Dawkins was number 2. I know you have him in the top 5. But what's interesting is Chase Utley has been the 3rd most, and I expected that. I was surprised that you all had him at 13.
So, the thing that's been interesting hearing people sort of debate this list is that for the most part, they're not debating the names on the list as much as the placement, right? Like you saw it right there, like AI, Dawkins, Utley, even, someone like Kelsey and Bobby Clark, like those are names, Dr. J, those are names that you expect to see on the list. And I think that people are really sort of nitpicking the ranking. And the way that we did that was that all of us that wrote for the package, I had everybody do a top 10 of who their top 10 were, and then I scored those and sort of had those names, and that sort of gave us a basic framework for how I did the rankings. Utley's the kind of person, and, that's the thing where Utley, I think, people were kind of torn, like, should Utley be on the list? Should Rollins be on the list? Should Ryan Howard be on the list? So I think maybe that's a situation where there was a little bit of a split vote, where maybe some people didn't think that Utley was even most representative of the teams that he was on, which might have put him behind someone, like Mike Schmidt, who was also controversial in that some people thought, great player, best third baseman of all time, but how much do you really represent the city? And those are the kind of names that really divided us, where some people voted highly for them, some people voted low, and you sort of see the way that scoring worked out that way.
I think that's why John Kruk is probably ranked so high, if I had to guess. Because not only did he represent that 93 team, he represented Philadelphia, where he was, and now back in the booth, he's basically just like a Phillies fan up there. It's the best part.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing where it's like he has come so much to sort of represent, even to a national audience, what Philadelphia and what the Phillies mean in this era, that I think that there probably is some recency bias there, not necessarily even just from his playing days, but what he means to the city right now. I mean, the guy has, national news segments about what he says in the booth. So, like, it's the kind of thing where, Kruk just sort of represents, like Olivia Cram wrote, he sort of represents a lot of what Philadelphia is. He's the kind of guy that you would just want to have a beer with.
Yep.
Bradford, so I've one statement on the ranking, and then I do have one question for you, because there was a name on this list that Amy and I, hand raised, did not even know about, and it's amazing name, amazing story for you to tell us. But I'm offended that Smarty Jones made the list. I'm offended that a horse made the list over athletes that I actually know liked Philly. Like, I don't know how much Smarty Jones liked the area.
Listen, I'm telling you, he loved it here.
I don't know. Maybe he would have liked a different stable somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know how a horse can make it in front of A, names that I think of like Jimmy Rollins, B, being 15th out of 25.
Yeah. So Smarty was one of those things where we were coming up with the list. One of our contributors, Don Steinberg, just threw out the name Smarty Jones, and all of us, obviously weren't thinking outside of the human world for this. But then we were like, all right, well, any of us can try to race Smarty Jones and we'll see who wins. But I think that the thing about Smarty was that he really rallied the city and the region around him because of where he raced and because of what he represented. He wasn't this blue blood horse. And I do know that, other people have brought up this point too. To me, part of this list is also having these sort of characters where you say you have to stop and think about their legacy, and you stop and think, oh, I don't agree with that. And then you turn the page and you're like, oh, actually, I agree with that one, though. So, we did this in as scientific a way as possible while also still wanting to have some stuff for, folks on the Fanatic and around the office to talk about, too.
And then the question, because Amy and I were both amazed by the story. Your research, tell us about Ora Washington.
Fascinating.
Which is an amazing story. She came in at number 12 on your list.
Yeah, so that was the kind of thing where when we were looking at the list, we wanted to make sure that we represented lots of different eras of Philadelphia. There's a lot of names on this list that a lot of these people are still alive. A lot of us have seen these people play. And Ora Washington was a young black woman who, in the early to mid 20th century, won 11 straight national titles in tennis. She won 8 national singles titles. Then she retired from tennis and then picked up semi-pro basketball. And she's one of those athletes that, in her time was recognized as one of the best in America, but has really sort of left the public eye, which is really a shame. And, she's the inspiration. If any of you have little kids and have been to Smith Memorial Playground in Fairmount Park, like, she's the inspiration for the MVP statue there. I think she was just a trailblazer in a lot of ways that have never been recognized before, at least on a broad scale. So players like that, and even, players sort of like Dick Allen that have, had to fight lots of different reasons to get into the public eye. I think this list was important for us to show those sort of athletes as well.
Well, it's been fun for us to react to throughout the course of the show. So thank you so much for that.
Thanks,
and we appreciate you coming on.
Make sure everybody go check out the article.
Yeah,
you can have your own debates.
Yeah, because you didn't just give the ranking. You gave reasonings and stories.
Everybody had to kind of chime in. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Yeah. PhillyMag.com. For the rest of the week, we'll also be rolling out sort of the most quintessentially Philadelphia moments, all the athletes that didn't make the list. So, it started last week, but we're continuing on through this week as well, especially with icons, coaches, and different folks that weren't necessarily on the field but made a huge impact to the Phillies.
I imagine John Chaney will be mentioned at some
one
point.
would think.
Bradford, we appreciate the time. Thank you so
Bradford.
much.
Thanks all.
There's Bradford Pearson.
joining us. Yeah, John Chaney's going to be on that list. Like that's an absolute lock. Has to be. Unless there's a horse trainer that makes it over John Chaney.
Oh, now I feel like I've got to stick up for poor Smarty.
Now, real quick, Smarty Jones, do you remember where you were for the Preakness is the second one, right?
Yes.
I'm not a big horse person. I was at McFadden's at the ballpark when it was still there. My parents, me, my mom, my dad, and my sister went to a Phillies game that day. And every once in a while, we like to do the nice sit down together at McFadden's, right? Nobody went into the game until after that race.
So that's to Bradford's point.
When that race happened and when Smarty had the lead down the final stretch, dude, it was as loud as patty wax when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, bro. I'm not. Connor and I were at this.
And you're fighting against this horse?
Yeah,
right?
Well, I don't know if he liked it here. Like,
he brought people together. Some would say a glue guy.
How am I supposed to? Wow, that is just.
Cut his mic. You're
God.
done.
Like locker room.
Stop it.
What do you mean?
There is no locker. That is so inappropriate.
Wow.
That is so.
No, I
got
it.
Stop it. No, you didn't.
Tip of the cap. That was a good one, man. I got to give it to you. That was a good one. Brendan Gunn already got attacked by the people.
Oh, come after me, horse racing community, please.
You're next, bro.
I'm just trying to be funny on the radio.
All right, what do we got on the text line at 610-632-0975? Has anybody explained one of their answers, or has it just been like, here are my answers?
Yeah, only about 1,000 people have explained out of the 1,400 we've got.
He's over there taking on all covers.
So this texter checks in, says, you guys talked me into AI and Kelsey. I can't argue with your points. The third is equally inarguable. You can't think of the powdered blue jersey and not see his face. Mike Schmidt represented an entire era of Phillies baseball.
Phillies baseball, but did he represent the city? Like
for this texter, he did.
I wasn't around for that, so I'm asking that question because I know there was a weird relationship between the fans and Michael Jack. I would think Larry Boa should have been on that list.
Larry Boa has been mentioned.
Larry Boa not being on that list. You want to talk about John Kruk still being around? Larry Boa's still around.
Larry Boa's out there hitting ground balls.
Right. He wants
spring training.
He wants to be the shortstop of the Phillies.
Yeah.
Larry Boa should be on that list. I think that's a pretty big miss by the team at Philly Mac. Look, age is a big factor. I get it. Like I mentioned, Chuck Bednarik should be top 3. Played both sides of the ball and had a concrete company here.
Quintessential.
Like he should be a top
guy.
3, and he's 25th on the list or 24th already.
Yeah, and I think that Bradford mentioned there is some recency bias with this.
Like Jason Kelsey, because we know
we see him all the time.
Right, exactly. All right, coming up next, we will continue going through this, the consensus, what people are saying, but we'll also check our text line at 610-632-0975 about our topic when it comes to success. What do you consider success? We'll get more thoughts on that next. Kincade and Salciunas. Amy here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Flyers are starting to play well and giving hope to a possible push toward
I'm Mark. That's coming up at 10 o'clock. Let's get back to more of Kincade and Salciunas right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
And it's a Tuesday with Amy. Amy Fadul in studio with us. John Kincade is on vacation, hoping he's having a great time. We'll get back to our text here in a minute. Amy, right before you came in this morning, we talked a little bit about Joel Embiid because yesterday on Middays with Marks, Johnny Marks was talking about how he believes the Sixers should just start over, build around Maxey and Edgecombe, like after this season, right? He's tired of getting his hopes up, and I get it. I had a guy DM me the other day, and he was saying, look, if Embiid stays healthy, and if Maxey continues to play at this level, and so does Edgecombe, and Paul George comes back fresh and his shots hitting, like, they're dangerous. And I'm like, yeah,
it's a lot of ifs.
But you need a lot of things to happen.
Yeah, it's true, though, and that is a true statement.
He's not wrong. They are one of the most dangerous teams.
Because you have no idea what
clicks.
they look like.
Right.
Because you don't see it all that much.
But doesn't mean it's going to happen. And yesterday on post-show headlines, which is something we do after every single show on our YouTube feed, Connor filled in for John yesterday. I basically came to terms that they're probably never going to win with Joel Embiid. Like, I said that out loud, which was a lot for me. So the smart person would be to just trade him and try to get the most for it if you don't believe that you're going to ever win. But in the back of my mind, I can't rule out the what if.
If it all comes together.
Right? And look, odds are it's never going to come together. So that's up to Daryl Morey, or as John Marks was saying, if they move on from Morey, whoever the next GM is, to decide to do that. It's just like, I fear he goes somewhere and it works. And then they win a championship because he is still freaking talented. They're 21-12 with him this year. He's putting up ridiculous numbers when he does play. You said a stretch of how many straight games with 30-plus points?
It was from January 1st to February 7th when he went out with that injury.
Like he was
averaging 20 or 29.9 points or whatever.
So like I can't just give up on that. But I also understand for somebody that's so defeated and tired of getting their hopes up. It wasn't that long ago. Sorry to bring it up, Sean Brace. Where Sean Brace during that stretch was like, they're championship contenders. They're the most dangerous team in the East. Or I'm paraphrasing. I don't know exactly what he said. And then Embiid got hurt. Everything went to crap. And he was like, oh, damn, maybe I jumped the gun a little bit. But
you see it.
Natural here.
Because when Joel Embiid is going, and let's face it, we had this conversation recently on one of our pregame shows with Mark Jackson, who's seen obviously a lot of basketball. And Coach is back tonight. Everybody wondering, Coach is back tonight.
Love it.
He's back up from Florida. We're going to see him for pretty much of the rest of the season. But anyway, unstoppable scorers, guys that you look at and you're like, well, this is just going to happen. And you're just going to have to try to somehow defend him in a way that they're not going to completely torch you.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid, when going, is one of the most unstoppable scorers. There's nothing you can do except for try to limit him.
Yeah.
He's got the inside game. He's got the fadeaway game. He can hit threes. It's a real problem. And so it's when you see those glimpses like we saw in January and you thought,
for a month.
Ooh. He's back. He was jumping. He was running. He was dunking.
Alley-oops from Maxey.
And we got a little excited, but in the back of your mind, you still were like, we're just waiting. We're waiting for the shoe to drop.
Here we are again.
And it's just it's been that way the entire career, and it's not anyone's particular fault. It's just the way that it is, and I think that's what makes it so much harder. You know what I mean? It would be easier if it was like we were just talking off air about Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
Zion Williamson, a lot of the issues he's had seem self-inflicted.
Yeah.
It's not self-inflicted to take a Pascal Siakam elbow to your eye.
Right. The oblique injury is not because he didn't work hard this offseason.
He still came in during that oblique injury and nailed a three that ended
the big three that iced the game against the Heat.
It's just like, of course we can't have nice things here. Of course we can't. Of course we can't.
And that's why I understand why somebody would reach that point. It's just
I can't get there yet.
It's a point that I'll never be at. Real quick before we get to the phones here. Do you guys know the name Cristo Fernandez?
No, I don't think.
Can you say it without the accent?
Cristo Fernandez.
I didn't know.
Man.
No.
All right. Cristo Fernandez, you may know better as Danny Rojas.
I almost put this in headlines.
Danny Rojas from Ted Lasso. Football is life.
Yeah, football
Danny
is
Rojas,
life.
Danny Rojas,
I
Rojas.
love Rojas.
He may make an actual roster. I just saw this morning. Yesterday, he played 30 minutes in a friendly for USL Championship. Oh my God. You soccer people out there. USL Championship team El Paso Locomotive.
You can't do that. I'm sorry. You can't do that to me. Like, you have to be the Phillies. Be a one-name team. I don't need USL Championship Team El Paso Locomotive. Anyways, he played for them against New Mexico United on Saturday. And apparently played well enough where they're legitimately considering making him part of the team.
Let's think about it.
He's a former player, but he had knee injuries.
Right. And I remember reading that because I remember watching one of the first times I watched Lasso, one of the first episodes, I thought, when Rojas shows up, I'm like, well, this guy clearly played.
Yeah.
Clearly, you could just tell.
Yeah. He wasn't just an actor.
Like, listen, like some of the guys looked like they played a little bit when they were like, I was like, this guy played. And then I remember did a Google search. I did not remember the actor's name. But if you're just like a team that's out there in whatever league, what league is this? It's the
USL.
The USL.
There you
United
go.
Soccer League.
If you're in that league, wouldn't you just sign him just to
the
like?
union's in?
No. Stop it.
Less. I would sign him if he can play. You get a little fun. You have a Danny Rojas night.
Yeah, I'm in.
Dude.
You
Of
make
course.
t-shirts.
You bring out the crew.
Yes.
You pay the crew,
We had Will Ferrell
Sudeikis.
playing in minor league games a couple years back.
I
That's
remember
right.
that.
And
He's in
people were-
spring training
and
games.
people were
Yeah, or
pissed.
He's
spring
at
training
spring
games,
training
that's what
because
it
he's
was.
switched
People
out
took
with
it so seriously.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
taking away a roster spot. Like, no.
He literally played instead of Mike Trout because I'm sure you know.
Yeah, Mike Trout was really fighting hard
whoa,
for that center field in
that March
Anaheim.
7th game.
People were so offended by that. I don't know why. But this is awesome. I'm rooting for the guy.
Yeah, good luck to him.
Let's go,
All right,
Rojas.
let's go to Stan in Drexel Hill. He's back from his side conversation. What's up, Stan?
Yo, sorry
It's all right.
about that. I seen a guy from my Y League just walking by, so we ended up chatting, and I didn't even realize you guys went to me. So
Did you flex?
good morning. I
You
appreciate
flex
it.
the
I
ring?
never want to waste the great Amy Fadul's time, man. I never want to do that.
You're good, Stan. You're good, bud.
But yeah, when it comes to Embiid, he that conversation you had about that Maxey thing, about what he said to him. Everybody, when you're constantly injured, second round exits, never accomplishing what people think, they're always going to find a reason. For me, I don't think a leader necessarily has to be the best player on the team. So I don't have a problem with him, especially if Max's personality shows that that's what he wants to do and that's who he is.
And by the way, Stan, like the thing that I laughed at, I was reading the comments. This was from NBC, the special broadcast they did when Maxey told the story that Embiid told him, "Hey, I need you to be the vocal leader." And there are Sixers fans going, "Oh my God, blah 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 blah." Is Bryce Harper the vocal leader of the Phillies?
Exactly. Like AI wasn't. I think it was Eric Snow and Aaron McKee.
Yep.
Those were the guys who were the locker room leaders. So I think that's a bit overrated. But like I said, when you don't have that success, people will always find reasons to kind of, get at you.
By the
As
way,
far
you
as that Daryl
also
Morey
mentioned the
conversation goes-
injuries. He's not around all the time, right? This year we're seeing him
Right.
on
So
the
somebody has to be a
sideline,
leader, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So real quick with the Daryl Morey thing, I actually put more of the onus on the owner, right? I look at it from a Josh Harris standpoint. In my opinion, Daryl Morey has done what he could with what he's been given and what he's allowed to do. We don't know behind the scenes what trades he wanted to make that he couldn't make because they wanted to deduct the tax, right? I can't look at Daryl Morey, and everybody was upset about him, drafting Jared McCain. Who's to say that he can't draft another one? You know what I mean? Like, he's had really good drafts since he's been here, being able to find guys that we loved, right? Isaiah Joe, guys like that. So it's like there's no reason to think that he can't draft another one of those guys. It's just a matter of, will the ownership continue? I think he's more handcuffed from them than he is with Embiid. I think if you had an owner who was really willing to win, who really prioritized the Sixers and winning, I think maybe things would be a little bit different. So I think you got to make do with what you got.
Look,
So
it's going to
put
be
more of that
interesting
on Josh
how this season plays out, Stan. Thanks for the call. If it's another early exit after a Jared McCain trade that pissed a lot of people off, how does that help or hurt Morey? But again, Johnny Marks saying get a new GM, build around Maxey Edgecombe. Who drafted Maxey Edgecombe? Daryl Morey. So you want to build around two pieces that the guy drafted that you want out. I'm not sitting here saying Daryl Morey's the greatest thing, but I don't know what direction this team goes in. Now, coming up next, you'll hear the reset of the show that always plays at the start of the 9 o'clock hour. It's about what we put into Philadelphia sports. Do we get enough back? We're going to open up the conversation about financially when we go to games. It's Kincade and Salciunas on a Tuesday with Amy here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Another big win for the Flyers. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers continue to keep their playoff hopes alive last night, taking down the Maple Leafs 3-2. It took until the shootout for them to get that victory. Noah Cates had a strong game with a goal and an assist in the win. Then the Leafs scored late, forced overtime, no score, and Dan Vladar held up in net with Michkov and Trevor Zegras netting goals in the shootout. They have the next 2 nights off before taking on Utah on Thursday. And remember, NHL trade deadline's on Friday. We'll keep you updated on news surrounding that as well. Sixers host the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama tonight at 8 p.m. as they look to continue their playoff push, but no Joel Embiid again in this one. He's still recovering from that oblique strain. That game you can hear live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Phillies take on the Rays today, 1:05 p.m. as their spring training slate continues. And Monday marks the start of the legal tampering period of the NFL offseason. Big point of news, so we'll keep you updated on any Eagles news that pops up as we draw closer to that date. Amy Fadul stays in studio with us for the rest of the show. This update is brought to you by True Green. Stop doing it yourself and get a golf course quality lawn the easy way from the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. Sign up today at truegreen.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
On Kincade and Salciunas.
What do you consider success? Is it just championships? Because if it is, then it kind of sucks. Like if it's all about winning the title every single year, odds are that's not going to hit. Do you believe success is just being a contender every single year? I think context always matters in this conversation. For the Flyers, when they soon, hopefully, become contenders, and I'm not talking about this year, despite them winning their 3rd straight game yesterday, once the Flyers get to the playoffs, we'll start calling them successful. But if you're the Sixers, being a quote-unquote contender and not getting past the 2nd round post-process, is that successful? Maybe it was in the first couple of years of Brett Brown where they're winning 50 games and they're going to playoff series, and they're going 7 games with the eventual NBA champion Toronto Raptors. But in 2026, if the Sixers make the playoffs, which I believe they will, win a first-round playoff series, which they could, and then lose in the second round, I'm not saying, hey, that was successful.
Winning a championship, always the end-all, be-all for me, but the path to that is not linear. So I need to see something. One, you're trying to win. We take that for granted here in Philadelphia, that our teams try and win. Because look around the country in all the major sports leagues. There are teams not trying to win or that are completely so dysfunctional that they never have a shot. Like, at least we are trying to find a way to win championships here in this town.
Now back to the show.
All right, so that's what we started the show off with. We're about to transition into a financial aspect of, do we get back what we put in? But let's check the poll. Is it still up and still strong, Connor?
Of course it is.
And of course, all thanks to our friend Dr. Avidan Appel of Iron Mountain Men's Health. You hear it in the afternoon all the time with Unfiltered, but the morning sessions exist too. So what do we got so far, Connor? Sorry, Amy.
Our poll today. How do you measure success in sports? 3 options: winning championships, consistent contenders, or daily entertainment. We do have 2% of responders saying daily entertainment. 39% are saying consistent contenders, and up to 59% now saying winning championships are what does it for them.
All right. Winning championships,
What's
again,
changed?
I want to know, because we've kind of reached our consensus, but we're still taking in text because you want to be in the running for the Sixers Bulls tickets and the Spot Knockout and the 2 $50 gift cards to Rita's. Your top 3 Philly guy or Philly gal athletes that represented the city, because we've been going through this Philly magazine list top 25. You can just text in your answers at 610-632-0975. But if you're one of the 58% that measures success in sports by winning championships, if this Phillies team doesn't win a championship, right? And I lean toward this team will not win a championship, and their best shot was not 2022 because they made it. It was 2023. Like, that was their best shot. I'm still going to look back at this run feeling empty, but like, man, that was a good time. It just left me feeling I didn't get dessert. Like, I wanted the nice cheesecake at the nice restaurant. Are you telling me, if you measure it off of just championships, that this run was just as successful as your opening day lineup that had Cameron Rupp behind the dish, Tommy Joseph at first base, Cesar Hernandez at second base, Maikel Franco at third base? Trying to remember shortstop because they didn't want to play Scott Kingery there all the time. You had Nick Williams, Aaron Altera, and Odubel Herrera. Was that team just as successful as this team?
Cesar Hernandez, was he
was at second. I don't know who the short. I'm trying to remember the shorts. I did all that off the top of my head. I don't remember who the shortstop was. Oh, Freddie Galvis, probably.
Oh,
I would imagine. So does that mean these two teams, these two runs?
No one, anybody can say that is yes. You can't say that is yes.
No, you can't.
You cannot equate those two.
But there might be people that go, if you don't win a
you didn't win it,
championship,
so
then you were unsuccessful. Now let's talk about this financially, because it's interesting that you added, Connor, the daily entertainment as one of the 3 options, and daily entertainment is getting the least amount of votes, as it should, and by far. When we pay money to go to these games, Sixers, Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, you want to add the Union? I've not been to a Union game in quite some time when they've still played at the Link.
You've never been down to Chester?
Nope, been a long time.
Great stadium.
Amy. Been a long time since I watched the Union
Great
in
stadium.
action, live in person. When you pay money to go to these games, do you believe you get back what you put in? Now, a couple things that we have to discuss. You're not paying for them to win. Like,
I'm not.
Well, you want them to win, but like, you didn't buy a ticket saying they're going to win today. Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't. I didn't buy a ticket to watch Michael Lorenzen throw a no-hitter. It happened.
It was awesome.
While I was there, right? So there are some things that you can't guarantee. What you can guarantee is if you're going to buy things at the ballpark or any of the stadiums, be careful and take out another, loan to be able to afford those things. Parking is a hell of a lot. But the in-game experience is a big part of it. Do you believe when you pay your money, because I know people think we get all the free tickets in the world. We don't.
No.
When you pay your money that you worked for, do you believe you are getting everything back in return that you are paying for?
I think it depends on, like you said, what you expect when you go there. Like, there's games where if I'm choosing to go to a game for my team, I might look at the opponent just to make sure I'm going to have an enjoyable experience.
Sure, fine.
I don't want to see them get their doors blown off.
I've bought tickets to see the opponent. Not that I'm not rooting for my team, but like, wow, the so-and-sos are in town.
Exactly.
The Dodgers are in town.
Spurs are here. I wanted to go to see the Sixers. It would be fun to see Victor Wembanyama as well.
Right.
So I do think that because as a sports fan, part of the enjoyment I get is to experience the game in person. Like, that is an enjoyable experience for me. It's something I could share with people, share with my kids, share with friends. So I enjoy that aspect of it. But, yeah, I mean, the investment is great. It's a very big investment.
Yeah.
And there's definitely times where I see people leaving the game early, and I'm like, I get it because of traffic, but I'm like, dude, you paid all that money to come here to the game.
And it's not just like, name me the last time you went to a game and nothing was purchased at the game. Maybe when you're by yourself. I mean, you're with your kids.
No.
Like, you're guaranteed to buy something. Yeah. Every time Coop goes to Citizens Bank Park, he wants a soft pretzel. It's like when we take him to a brewery, he associates, I get to eat snacks. Where's my snack? Every time we go to Citizens Bank Park, he knows where to go get the soft pretzel.
Yeah, and it's just like, even if you plan it, because I know people that plan ahead, they bring stuff into the game. God bless. You're still going to go out and buy the ice cream. You're still going to go out and get a bottle of water.
And that beer sounds good.
It looks good. You didn't know you wanted it until someone sat down next to you and you thought, like, well, the guy's coming up the aisle.
It's 95 degrees out. That's summer shandy.
Delicious.
All 24 ounces of it sounds really good right now.
Yeah, I cannot remember the last time I went to a game and did not purchase anything. I don't think it's ever happened. Any sporting event ever that I've never not purchased something.
Now, what's amazing is a conversation like this. You know, we had today's headlines earlier today where Connor brought up that the St. Louis Cardinals, over the course of the season, not every single game, will be doing a $29 ticket deal where you pay $29, you get your seat. You also get all you can eat and drink certain things. Not beer, but like sodas and all that kind of stuff.
There's like a menu, I saw that you
like
order
teams can do that. That's freaking awesome, and not all teams do it. The other thing that I always see complaints about, and trust me, I get it too, is ticket prices. I used to go to Sixers games for free. You know why? Because they sucked. Mm-hmm. It was during the process. I was a member of the Revolutionaries.
Yes, exactly.
Part of it was to see LeBron and the Heat come to town, and Blake Griffin and the Clippers to come to town. I got to see those players.
That's why those tickets are usually at a premium.
Right, exactly. So when your teams are better, because I always say, oh my God, they raise ticket prices. Yeah, because the team's good. They're not going to raise ticket prices if you're tanking. They say, open door policy, whoever wants to come in.
The Athletics, because they don't have a city name, those are not high-priced tickets.
No, they're not
White
charging
Sox
people
are
an arm and a
not
leg.
high-priced tickets. The random Sixers game from 5 years ago, not a high-priced ticket.
No, but now, because the Sixers...
They're winning, and they're playing good teams.
I feel like that's normal economic skills.
Literally. Supply and demand,
economics, but I know that's a thing. So Connor, do you believe, because our first topic about what we put in, do we get back what we deserve? And success is one of those things, right? All this time and energy. We love these teams so much. We watch them every day. You're a part of the station every day. We work here, but you're all a part of it. We appreciate you being a part of it. The reason why you do it is because you love sports. You might not love us, but you love sports. You want to hear us talking about sports. And so we put in a lot of energy and time, and sometimes we don't get the wins back. But when it comes to the financial aspect of it, you go down often. Do you believe you get back what you paid for?
Absolutely, because there's one thing that is inarguable about the current landscape of Philadelphia sports, and really has been for a while. You got stars, and you got stars capable of doing special things any given night. And that's the beautiful thing about where we're at right now in Philly sports. Even if we don't have the championships every year, like if you know Bryce Harper's playing baseball in this city, or Jalen Hurts is the quarterback of your football team, Saquon, and like Joel Embiid is kind of weird with the health thing and the load management in the NBA.
Tyrese Maxey plays.
Exactly. Like, Michkov for the Flyers, what Vladar's been doing in net. If you're buying a ticket, you have a chance to see something special. And for me, that's always worth the investment.
Mm-hmm.
And basketball is you have to buy tickets the day of.
Yeah.
That's the one. Like baseball. Let's say Bryce Harper's out for a day. You still have Kyle Schwarber. Like you still have so many players. Basketball is not just the Sixers. It's are you sure you're going to see?
Yeah, if you're going
the opposing
for exactly, are you going for that Pelicans game? Is Zion going to be playing?
Right, exactly.
You don't know that.
No, you don't. So you can also chime in on that 610-632-0975. Our topic today is about just sort of the Philadelphia sports scene. We had the author of the Philly Magazine Top 25 Philadelphia Athletes list, people that represented Philadelphia on their sleeve when they played here. There's been a lot of back and forth over that. I knew you all love your Chase Utley, man. Top 3. It's amazing. And then, of course, when it comes to the sports itself, do you get what you put in? Do you get back what you put in? Success? And now finances we open up as well. What do you got on the text line, Connor? It's 610-632-0975.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of people checking in on the success conversation from earlier that we just brought back up. And this texter checks in and says, when it comes to the expectations and what you're looking for, I do think championships are important. Sixers, for example, have to at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals. If not, I am in agreement with blowing things up.
So this year is the year that
so kind of a crossover of two topics there.
Okay, sure. I mean, look, this is going to be 10 years from now. Talk on debates, right? Or hell,
how do you not win with that?
The second Joel Embiid leaves, we're going to talk about whether or not it was all worth it, and there will be people that will say no because they didn't win. Hey. Hand raised.
Yeah.
When the process started, I was all for it. But I said on these airwaves, so I can't run. Not that I'm sure people have the tape from like 9 years ago, but I said on these airwaves, they need to get to 2 NBA finals. I didn't even say win. Get to 2 NBA finals for this to have been all worth it, because I think about where I was when the process started. I went to school at Temple. I took the Broad Street line, the Sixers games all the time. For what? To see the other teams play.
Yeah.
Like, I lost formidable years of my life. And I'm being serious. Like,
it was fun, though.
We're
Kinda.
The Eagles playoff game. I was at the New Deck Tavern. I know you like that spot, too.
Over
Great
there.
spot.
Next to Penn.
And it's right near Penn.
Mm-hmm.
And I texted my buddy Joey, who I went to high school with, and we roomed in college for a few years, too. And I was like, dude, you have no idea how jealous I am of these kids here, because they're all, 20. They just turned 21, and they're at the bar with their buddies watching the Eagles playoff game. My college years was Phillies sucked. Sixers were tanking. Flyers were in one year, out the other year, but not a serious threat. And Eagles was post-chip, like it was chip post-chip, right? The first year post-chip was my senior year of college. Like, I didn't have that I'm in the city's alive sports memory that a lot of people now have.
Yeah,
I'm jealous of that. And the process, I understood it and I agreed with it, but it had to have a payoff. And
so far,
my payoff is individual success, 50 games, 50 win seasons, and disappointments in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's tough. The process was, and we did joke that it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable once you wrapped your head around the fact that you're not going to see NBA brand of basketball overall from your hometown team. But once you did that, you're like, all right, I get it. I mean, and this was coming from someone that had to talk about those games for 40 minutes after they got their doors blown off and there wasn't an NBA player wearing a Sixers uniform. It's tough to swallow when there was so much put into that. And for me, it's a little bit harder because you see other teams that have done the tanking and have been more successful at it.
Yeah.
The Thunder are one, the Spurs even to a certain degree. And you're thinking, the Cavaliers. I mean, the Cavaliers
works. I'm not saying tanking doesn't work.
It works
depending
more
on what the Sixers do.
Yeah, and I think that's really, it's just like, it's worked for everybody else. You have other teams that have been in the finals. You have other teams that have gotten to the promised land, and you're thinking, this team doesn't get past the second round. That, to me, is like the bigger problem.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need the NBA finals twice in order to be successful. I do need something past the second round.
And so Neil checks in on our YouTube chat. I appreciate everybody who's been a part of the show today because we've had a lot of great responses. The point of the process was to give the Sixers a legit chance at a title for multiple years. You can't guarantee a championship. I would consider the process a success because I felt they had a legit chance in multiple years.
All right.
I totally understand what you're saying. but it did not pay off. Ultimately, like, if I book a trip I'm going to Florida next month.
Yeah.
All right? I believe I'm going to have a great time. What if I get down there and I get strep throat, my son gets strep throat? Oh, wait, that happened to me 1 year ago when we went to Florida. And by the way, there was a cold front, and it was 45 degrees. It was warmer up here when I was in Florida.
I remember this.
So even though I really thought I was going to have a good time, it sucked.
You did not have a
And
good
so I agree with you, Neil. There have been seasons where I've said, they have a shot. But if it doesn't play out, I can't be like, well, at least they had a shot.
It kind of goes back to your initial statement of, like, is it sustained success? Is that more of a payoff for you?
The first couple of years, yes.
For sure.
Like
But now
Ben
once you kinda
and
get-
B, that series against the Celtics where you got Ilyasova playing and Bellinelli playing. Like,
those shots.
Like, okay. Like, that was the first year of, like, all right, they made it. They made it to the playoffs. Let's
That's
continue
your
this.
first taste of, like,
You,
this-
you
what
have the
could be.
horrific ending to the Raptors, but you're like, all right, they're right there. And then that offseason happened. And then they wanted to run a run and gun 3-point shooting offense with Josh Richardson as your 2 guard when Ben Simmons already couldn't shoot. And that's to me where it started to go downhill. Then the James Harden, Daryl Morey's a liar thing, that's a whole other saga. There's multiple sagas, but they never exited the second. They never made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So how can I say that when this ends, because it's going to end eventually, that it all worked out for the Sixers just because we thought they could be contenders?
Yeah, I think you can look at it as a time that was much better and that the process helped, but it didn't pay off to what you needed it to. Not the way the other teams have gotten it to pay off. The other teams that have run this process, I mean, I keep using that word, but it is what it is. And side note, before the broadcast, it was side by side the Celtics game, so the national had it as well, Peacock or whatever. They started out with the craziest line you've ever heard. I know you didn't hear it because you were a loyal NBC Sports
Yes, I
Philadelphia
am.
viewer, so thank you for tuning us.
You're
Because we
welcome.
would never say this sentence.
No, Amy, I'm out.
The national broadcast said, Philadelphia, Boston, 2 teams that don't rebuild, just reload.
Oh, I heard that.
Everyone was like,
Somebody
I didn't hear it.
posted that.
Someone showed me, and I was
Yep.
like, stop it. There's literally a full rebuilding process, so much so that we called it the process.
Yeah.
I died. I was
Yeah,
like,
you
that's
can't-
amazing.
yeah,
That's
you
amazing.
can't
I
say
appreciate they're trying to sell it, but no. Yeah,
You could sell it other ways, like 2 teams that used to fight. Here's a picture of Doc.
Listen,
choking
these are
out Larry
historic
Bird.
rivals. No team has met more than these 2 in the regular season, or I think overall too, because the regular season and the postseason.
Yeah,
But
you don't have to do that.
It was great.
They
Yes,
don't rebuild.
The process paid off in the fact that you got what you initially wanted, but the whole term of the process wasn't just about getting, top players. It was about having sustained success, like the Spurs did back in the day when they first started kind of having.
But
this
their
idea.
sustained success was success.
And that's the thing.
Like
That's
they
where the
won.
process isn't going to pay off.
And unfortunately, yeah. And look, I feel like we're at that point, and that sucks because
Yeah, that's tough.
like
I don't know.
it's going to happen every year, and that's a freaking bummer. And I'm not going to write them off because if everybody clicks and gets healthy, to the DMer's point from 4 days ago, yeah, they're dangerous.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, the way I've always looked at it is if you're a processor, you've been pot committed, right? To use
You're
the
in.
old poker
Yeah.
term. I don't care if your hand is a 2-7.
You're
You're
in.
pot committed.
Go
And
for it,
until
baby.
they flip that river card,
You just keep on.
yeah, we're
You'll check. You'll raise. You'll do whatever. But
absolutely.
you're in.
All right, coming up next. Speaking of finances, we talked about the financial aspect of being a Philadelphia sports fan, and do you get everything back in return that you pay for? Connor had an interesting topic idea. Which teams? Forget us for a second. Which teams have the best deals? We always talk about the worst contracts in Philadelphia sports. What about the best contracts? That and one player signed a deal because of reasons outside of the other cities he didn't pick, and an all-time DM I got to tell you about next. Kincade and Salciunas, Amy with us, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Flyers take down the Leafs. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Flyers continued to keep their playoff hopes alive last night, beating the Leafs 3-2 via the shootout. Took them a little extra time, but they got the job done. Noah Cates a big part of getting that job done. Strong game with a goal and assist in the win out of him. Dan Vladar was big in net, as he has been all year for the Flyers, including in the shootout.
On the left side from the top of the circle, goes in front, took a shot, saved by Dan Vladar, and the Flyers win it in the shootout. 2-1 shootout win, and Philadelphia's won 3 in a row for the third time this season.
Great call by Tim Saunders, as always, right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. They have the next 2 nights off before taking on Utah on Thursday and the NHL trade deadlines on Friday, so we'll keep a close eye on what they could do at that deadline. Sixers host the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama tonight at 8 p.m. Their playoff push is ongoing as well. No Joel Embiid again in this one. He's continuing to recover from that oblique strain that's kept him out. You can hear that game live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Phillies take on the Rays today down in Florida at 1:05 p.m. as their spring training slate continues, and Monday marks the start of the legal tampering period of the NFL offseason. We'll keep you updated on any Eagles news that pops up as we draw closer to that date. This update's brought to you by Dairy Queen. The new spicy menu at DQ has opposites attracting spicy flamethrower chicken strips now served with a dip of sweet DQ soft serve. Sounds wrong, but tastes so right. The new spicy menu at DQ at participating locations. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
hour of Kincade and Salciunas is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
All right, it is 9:29 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. It's a Tuesday with Amy Fadul in studio with me today. Before we get to the best contracts in Philadelphia, because we always complain about the worst contracts, why not talk about the best contracts? Good idea by you, Connor.
Thank you.
Yesterday was a Positivity Monday. We had a very
fun.
positive
I enjoyed.
day.
I listened for solid, probably like almost 2 hours.
And I would say today's been mainly, it's been more like open-ended. It hasn't been beating you over the head with A.J. Brown. We brought up the Max Crosby thing. Would you, ask you, Amy, flip-flop? If it's like A.J. Brown's getting traded, there's no...
He's gone. No,
he's
there's
gone.
nothing I can do about it.
Albert Breer wrote an article that from his talks at the Combine, Eagles are asking for 2 picks within the top 100, 1 first-round pick, and then another pick within the top 100. He then mentioned Max Crosby, and one of the teams Max Crosby would like to play for, the Eagles. That's why this came up, because people were wondering why we've been talking about this. Max Crosby, according to reports, has the Eagles as one of the teams circled. If you were going to lose A.J. Brown, would you rather go for the draft picks or go for the proven commodity
Max Crosby.
And their contracts align?
Max Crosby.
And I know people are saying, that's not how it works. I know. It's a hypothetical.
It's a hypothetical. We're living in a
Imagine
hypothetical
there's alcohol
world.
in there. Well,
we're just sitting at a bar and being like, hey, dude,
Might
you'd
be.
do that, right? You'd do that contract.
I would do that.
I would do that trade.
I
Yeah.
also love edge rushers, and I'm obsessed with that. Whereas Connor would go more
Well,
draft picks.
Okay, but I feel like the one thing that I look at from last year's defense to the year before, I look at the loss of like a Josh Sweat.
Yeah.
And then the other, like those, I look at some of those losses and think, listen, the defense was great this year, but they had to go out and get Jalen Phillips because they knew they needed a little bit more on that.
Yeah, they
And Max
had
Crosby,
to, and now they might lose him.
So Max Crosby would solve that in the hypothetical world that we are living in.
Totally hypothetical. No need to get so angry all the
People are
time.
going to be like, you can't do that.
All right. I did earlier in the show do the. I just like you guys poke fun at me. I get to poke fun back. It's all right. All right. Let's go professional. You want to go professional baseball or college baseball first? A story that I'm going to read to you.
Let's start with the pros.
All right. Merrill Kelly, our old buddy. Remember he said it wasn't that loud here at Citizens Bank Park?
Yes.
And then he was like, I was taken out of context.
Oh, yes, that's how it is.
I was like, bro, you said
You
it.
said it wasn't that loud.
Like you.
What context would that work in? I was talking about the hallway.
He compared the World Baseball Classic and all that kind of stuff. He's like, compared to that, it's not that loud. Bro, you said what you said. I was taken out of context is the new way to try to dance out of things these days.
I was hacked.
That's another big one. Ask Doc Rivers. Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly turned down a contract with the San Diego Padres.
Okay.
Because of the taxes.
Oh.
Merrill Kelly went on the Foul Territory podcast. Eric Kratz is on. Pierzynski is a part of that network. Ken Rosenthal is a part of that network. And he admitted that he was offered a contract with the San Diego Padres. Basically, same amount of money. Same year, same amount of money. Who has a better shot of winning this year? Diamondbacks or San Diego Padres? San Diego Padres. But he's 37 years old. It's probably his last payday.
Yeah.
He said, I've been in Arizona for a while. My family's here. My kids are here. And, oh, by the way,
they take a small fortune.
The tax in California is much different. How would you react to that? Like we don't really have that issue here because we don't have the tax thing. But let's face it, we have lost players to Miami.
Yeah.
Because it's Miami. But no sales tax in Florida.
No, no state income tax.
No state income. Sorry, thank you. No state income tax.
Because here's no sales tax.
Merrill Kelly's a solid pitcher.
So it's interesting because the way that works, and there's people that talk about this, so there's a lot of athletes that live elsewhere, and you can claim the residency, but when you work for a team, you have to pay it's like city wage tax, right? For people that work in Philadelphia. You don't have to live in Philadelphia to get the city wage tax.
Shout out Val Kinwood, baby.
If you work in Philadelphia, you get the city wage tax. Now, if you live there and work there, you get dinged twice.
Yeah.
So it's a similar type of vibe. So yes, maybe he has his residence in a state that has no state income tax, but because his work is going to be there, he's going to still have a small fortune.
Yeah. And so he picked to stay with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Wild.
Not just because he loved it there and he established
also,
his family
he can
there.
save a couple More million.
He straight up admitted it. Now here's a DM. Do you guys know the name Reagan Rivera?
Nope.
I don't blame you.
So you had Ted Lasso too?
No.
yeah.
Reagan Rivera pitches for Indiana college baseball.
University of Indiana.
Yes.
Where Kyle Schwarber went.
How about that?
Fun.
Did they give him the key to the city? Is a whole other question. They played Western Kentucky in baseball recently, and Western Kentucky won 14-12.
I caught it. Great game.
Did you?
No.
It was a 3-game series, so they stayed around town. They stayed around campus.
Bowling Green, Kentucky.
So Reagan Rivera was, a little thirsty. So he went on the prowl.
I need to look up and see where he went. Hold on.
And, he was, the prowl these days is not going anywhere. The prowl these days is DMing.
I thought I was seeing if he's going to be at a bar.
He sent a DM to a girl named Emily. Oh, no. Hey, Emily. She responds with, oh, hi. He says, well, what are you up to tonight? She responds with, partying. You should probably sleep since you pitched like you know what. And she spelled out the word. They gave him 14 runs. He only went an inning, allowing 6 earned runs. I love Emily. Whoever Emily is, I love you. That's amazing. That's a fantastic response. You should probably sleep since you pitched like bleep.
Everything's on the internet.
And now it's
she's
here.
locked in. She's a fan, so she looks it up. She clicks on his profile and she sees that he pitches for Indiana, and she was like, "Why is this guy here?" So Emily, being the internet sleuth that we know so many of us are, she then finds out, oh, they must have played Western. So she looks up what Western score was, and then she looked at the box score.
And
she didn't
saw
just look up the
his name.
score. She looked up the box score. Emily, well
I
done.
love Emily.
You're going to be an amazing, amazing person.
Damn right.
Great move.
She already is an amazing person.
Yes, true. But in life, she's going to go on to do some great things.
I had a guy I played college baseball with that got like that. Yeah, and he sent a tweet to one of the Barstool guys, criticizing, I guess, an article he wrote or a take he had. And the guy looked up his current college baseball stats and tweeted back at him.
Yeah.
Maybe less tweeting, maybe more bullpen
I feel like they always
stats.
do that. I feel like they always do that to Stephen A.
Oh, yeah, the averages 1.7 or whatever in high school. Yeah, I remember that. All right, Connor, you thought of it. I think we all agree Christopher Sanchez, by far, the number one best contract in Philadelphia sports. Has to be, right?
Yeah.
Forget rookies. You got to forget rookies because they're on their rookie.
Yeah. I do think that, actually, when you look at it, the Zach Wheeler deal is actually a really good deal comparatively.
Yeah.
If you look at what he's done here and what other pitchers of that caliber and have had the seasons he had, what they're paid, it seems odd, but it's actually a bit of a deal.
I was in Clearwater when the deal happened. News broke as I was doing a show from Baycare, which was freaking awesome. And Jason Stark was in the building, so he walked over and we talked about it. And he was like, he's getting paid the same money as Scherzer and Verlander because they were getting that $40 million a year, short term, but $40 million a year. He goes, Zach Wheeler's pitched better than both of those guys.
Yeah.
And he got, I think, slightly less than both of those.
He did.
Yeah, but I mean, Christopher Sanchez is even a level
steal.
above that.
What was when they had Ranger? That was a steal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Sanchez on a 4-year, $22.5 million deal. That's nuts. That's like $5 million a year for a guy that was Cy Young runner-up last year.
So that's got to be number one. I'm trying to think, look, Bryce Harper's contract is good. A lot of people may complain about how many more years are left on it and the whole extension talk or the pay raise talk. I get it. That's bothered people. But the average annual salary, we went through it last week. He's 39th in the big leagues. And he's still a top 30 player in Major League Baseball. And his average annual salary is low. At the time, like Ryan Howard. People complain about the Ryan Howard contract at the time. Ryan Howard is getting paid like the 8th guy on a team right now. It's just the way baseball changes over time. I would say Harper's contract's still a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to sell that to a lot of people with how they feel about Bryce Harper right now.
I know.
I don't disagree with you. I think the interesting way to break this down is by best contract on a given team in the city too, to see who's done the best job of doing this.
Right.
It's very obvious the Eagles and Phillies are ahead of the Sixers and Flyers. The Sixers' best contract right now, I think, might be Dominic Barlow.
Yeah, probably.
Starter.
Yeah, he is. And you just converted him from a two-way, but that's not exactly the level of Cy Young runner-up Christopher Sanchez.
Yeah.
For the Eagles, you could go with, if you want to go rookie contracts, Quinyon, Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, guys like that. But you could also go Jalen Hurts, comparing him to what other franchise quarterbacks are getting with the cap
to
hit.
ones that have not won anything.
Right.
And he has won and has been consistently winning. I mean, Flyers.
It's Dan Vladar.
I was about to say it's Vladar.
That was like a flyer. I mean,
and
literally
that was
like, hey, this would be kind of fun.
They lucked into it, right? Like they lucked into it.
They did.
There's a lot of contracts that people hate on that Flyers team.
Yes.
A lot. Like when Dvorak got his extension,
It's usually
people lost their minds.
It's usually those names are the ones that they hear about in trade time too.
Yeah, I mean, Ristolainen getting the contract that he got a couple years ago was
Yeah, Konechny's
I know
their
he's a
leading
serviceable player.
He's their leading scorer, but he's on a major long-term deal that a lot of people didn't think he was going to get.
Yeah,
He's been in trade talks.
Coots.
Yeah, well, he scored. He scored 2 games ago, empty net, but first time in 32
I wasn't thrilled when he got
games.
the contract to begin with, and it's kind of
Remember they used to hand out those like 10-year contracts?
Yeah.
Like Jeff Carter, Mike Richards. Here's a 15-year contract. Okay.
we don't really do that anymore,
No,
which is a good
The NHL as a
thing.
whole doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah, which is a good thing. But like the Flyers have some pretty bad contracts.
I think the biggest thing to look at, though, is the teams that are successful in this town clearly have more deal value contracts. Like, that's the biggest thing.
Depends on what you value success to.
Because you can pay other players. That's literally how it is. You share the wealth a little bit.
Well, in baseball,
Well, baseball's a little bit different until next year.
Right. And we'll see how this all plays out. But, for a while, you couldn't really screw up.
Yeah, and the NBA is a little bit different on the other side where they have the slotted money where, like, max contract, you can't give Tyrese Maxey, 6 years, $80 million.
He
get
got what
you
he got. Yeah. You could do bad contracts like Paul George, bad contract.
Yeah.
It just is.
He did not make the list of best value contracts.
No, we're trying to do the best valued contracts. All right, coming up next, we'll check our text line. We got to announce our winners. We have 2 $50 gift cards to give away for Rita's. It's going to be warm weather next week.
That's right.
Keeps getting pushed back. But we have 2 $50 gift cards to Rita's to give away. We also have the pair of Sixers tickets, March 25th against the Bulls at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. You can get your single game tickets today at Sixers.com and, of course, the spot and knockout. So those get announced next. Also, what's the point of even going? Not about knockout, something totally unrelated. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
The Sixers are in another stretch playing without. Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
9:46 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Amy Fadul in studio with us. We have our winners for the gift card. So this week we have 5 $50 gift cards to Rita's. The water ice that is delicious. I'm a big mango. What's your go-to Rita's water ice order? Mango?
Mango's sneaky.
I'm a big mango guy. Look, lemon, raspberry, the original flavors, cherry, like
Cherry's not bad.
They're delicious. But like mango,
It's my second. If the mango's not available, cherry would be my second.
number one. I also like they do. I think they're called mixtos.
Yeah, where you have the is that what they call them?
It's water ice and ice cream.
Yeah, the gelato and the soft serve.
Yeah, Mixto is also a great restaurant in the city that I may just be getting confused with.
They don't call them that. They don't call them that.
What do they call it?
I'm gonna look it up.
Misto?
Is that it?
Oh, it's a misto. Okay.
Misto.
Close. Mixto makes sense. You mix it up. I just go like a vanilla custard with the chocolate water ice. So it's a vanilla and chocolate. It's a tremendous combination. Anyways, we have 5 $50 gift cards to give away this week. And our first two, one goes to John from Doylestown, the other, Alfred from South Philly. So congratulations to John from Doylestown, Alfred from South Philly. Thank you for being a part of today's show, texting in your top 3 Philadelphia athletes that represented the city best based off of the Philly Magazine article that we reacted to and completely disagreed with a lot of it. But hell, content's content. We appreciate you, Philly Mag. John from Doylestown, Alfred from South Philly. We will announce momentarily the knockout winner. The winner that got the pair of tickets for the Sixers-Bulls game March 25th. Matos Buzelis in town. I know you guys are all fired up about that. And, of course, the spot and knockout afterward. I know you're ready to break down Buzelis.
Matos Buzelis.
I love him. All right. What's the point of Tariq Skubal going to the World Baseball Classic?
To pitch like 55 pitches and call it a day.
And that's it. This has been an ongoing story that he said he was going to do, and now it's official. Tariq Skubal is going to the World Baseball Classic. Obviously, the AL Cy Young. Like, he's USA, baby. Let's go. I would like him on the United States of America.
It would be really fun. He's a very talented pitcher.
He is pitching a maximum of 55 pitches against Great Britain, with all due respect.
You never know who's going to play for these teams, though. Okay, I haven't looked at the Great Britain roster. I'm sure that there's a guy on there that's played in the major leagues.
Oh, I'm sure there is. But
isn't Jazz Chisholm on Great Britain?
Perfect.
Maybe. But Great Britain, not necessarily the team that I'm worried about so much. And Tariq Skubal is going to throw 55 pitches against them. Now, that's going to, if you're a Tigers fan, you're probably thrilled by that.
Yes.
Because we here in Philadelphia, I love the World Baseball Classic, so I'm not complaining as much as John does. But John is worried about the arms going to the World Baseball Classic, and you're not going through your spring training regimen. You're
pitching.
You're pitching.
It's legitimate pitching.
And maybe they have pitch counts on some of these guys.
I'm sure they do.
Like if you're playing for Czechia, like if you're going 140 pitches, you're going 140 pitches, right?
If you're playing for Czechia, there is no chance you're then also playing for an MLB roster.
Right, exactly. So whereas maybe the Team USA, maybe Mark DeRosa has an understanding like, all right, I'm not going to burn this guy out. But I understand the concern for people that are worried that their pitchers are going to get gassed or players are going to get hurt or whatever. So if you're a Tigers fan, you probably like it. But what's the point of you going just to say you did it?
And then it was like, well, if they make it all the way through, he would come back at the end. No.
To support. Not even to pitch.
No.
He wants to go back and support. So what are you doing, man?
You can't even let him support. Edwin Diaz got hurt celebrating. It's too dangerous for him to even be there.
That's right.
But you're burying the lead here. It could be a matchup with a great Vance Worley, who pitched
the Vanimal
for Great Britain in the last one. Could you
That's
imagine?
Right, he did.
2026 Vance Worley versus Tariq Skubal.
I love the USA's
I'd watch
chances.
that. Bring it on. Bring it on. Like,
it's stupid that he's only throwing one game.
55 pitches.
50. Yeah, exactly. Like him.
I mean, for him, that's obviously that could be 6 innings. Like what I get it, 5 innings. He's obviously exceptionally efficient, and he's going against Great Britain. I'm sure it'll be very quick, and he'll be done, after a couple of innings. But it just, I don't know.
I don't get the point. By the way, you're right. Jazz Chisholm is on the Great Britain roster. I don't get it at all. Why they're doing this? Tournament starts this week, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Team USA stacked.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're looking at the teams that are going to be contenders. They're up there. Japan's up there.
Yeah.
Dominican Republic's
the Dominican,
nasty.
for sure.
Always,
I mean,
yeah.
yes. This should be a scouting opportunity for a lot of MLB teams,
the
hometown team included.
Seranthony Dominguez on the DR.
Sir Tony.
I love Seranthony Dominguez.
Who doesn't love Sir Tony?
A lot of people were very happy with him to not be on the team anymore. Everybody loved themselves some Austin Hayes.
He's one of your guys, man.
I hate
He's
Austin
one
Hayes.
of your guys.
I love Seranthony Dominguez. I hated Austin Hayes before he even came here, and now I hate him even more because he stunk. What we got on the text
You
line?
had like kidney failure, bro. You gotta leave Austin Hayes alone.
Yeah, and then I remember you being like, "Oh, look what he's doing in the hitter-friendly ballpark in Cincinnati." The first 5 games of the season last year.
You're right. The bank isn't hitter friendly.
He had a couple of home runs last year. Wow, great. What do we got?
We have a lot of people checking in on our different topics from throughout the show today. Matt from Destin wants to check in on the investment, though, and he says, Philly fans invest a lot in these teams. We're in a good spot right now when they're constantly ending seasons with winning records. But as us fans know, what these teams are capable of and have always been, the win and lose will be the success determination.
Of course. There's nothing worse in terms of the financial implication of it. Look, you're going to a random game in May, baseball game, and they lose, bummer.
You're like, all right, well, it was a fun day at the ballpark.
Paying the exorbitant fees and going to a playoff game and watching your team lose, that is horrible. And that's almost everybody has the same reaction. Why did I do this?
I paid for this. I was here for this.
My dad and I went to Game 2 NLCS, the 2023, and we were late because that's when there was 6 events going on because the city was really smart about planning a friendly.
It was a friendly. Germany, Mexico.
Yeah, it was packed.
It was the Flyers home opener.
I left 2.5 hours before first pitch and missed the first 3
Every
innings.
parking lot was every parking space in the South Philadelphia area.
Really good idea by the city to do that. I think I dropped. It was for me and my dad, probably $400.
Oh yeah.
And thank God they won. Imagine if I missed half the game and then they lost. I would have been miserable.
Hey, that's the gamble you take, man.
It pretty much is gambling.
Honestly, it is.
Because you're buying
paying
tickets
money
to watch your team lose?
You're paying money to go and maybe put yourself in some kind of misery.
That's the thing.
And a financial hole.
Could you imagine if you bought tickets to a concert of your favorite artist? And you're like, I hope they're good at playing music today.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I hope they don't play any of the stuff from the new album.
Not even that.
Yeah.
Just
I did that with Blink. When Blink was in
Just
town,
play the old stuff.
the first 15 songs, I was like, I don't know any
Wait.
of this.
When Blink came, that's their farewell tour.
Yeah.
They didn't play the old stuff?
They did at the end. But for the first hour and a half of them on set, I was
That's a know your role
I don't
here.
know any of these songs. All right, we did the top 25 athletes list. We reacted to it. Congratulations to Joe Rambo. That's just awesome.
What a name.
Joe Rambo, not John Rambo. Joe Rambo from Tacony is the winner of our Sixers tickets and the spot in knockout. Connor, you had the final tallies because you've been working in the war room back there for a while. Iverson clear cut number 1, right?
Iverson clear cut number 1. Dawkins clear cut number 2. Chase Utley did finish in 3rd. We also had some very fun 1-vote getters.
Okay.
Shout out Vinny Curry for getting a vote for top 3 most Philly athlete of all time. TJ McConnell and Aaron McKee both received the vote.
Oh.
So good.
I could see both. Well, Aaron obviously is from Philly.
Yeah,
played in
Temple.
Temple, Sixers.
That's actually
6th man of the year.
Mike Trout receiving a vote.
No.
Along with Kobe Bryant receiving multiple.
You can't represent a city that you don't want to ever play for.
Also, he doesn't strike me as a
Philly guy?
No.
Not at all. He's a Millville guy.
And we
Trust me, I
also
know
did
that.
get 1 Stevie Williams vote.
Ah, nice.
Backing up the skateboard.
Good job, Stevie Williams. All right, everybody have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for
Amy,
having
thank
me.
you as always.
See you guys
See you
Friday.
on Friday. Johnny the K on vacation all week long. Middays with Marks with Sean Brace comes your way. Next, we'll talk to you tomorrow here in the Fanatic.